All man.
Right, here we are. What's up, everybody?
It's going to be a show.
How was your week? Welcome to Tuesday, the Spick and Span show.
I have a feeling this is going to be one of our best shows.
This is going to be a fantastic show. We've got a really good guest coming on. Is Damien coming over also?
I didn't ask him. When I asked you that, I felt like it was
we can fire it in there. We can fire him in. Damien, if you're watching this at
whoever
work,
wants to come on can come on.
Come on in. Well, you know, first event of 2024 is in the books.
Some contrasting.
Congratulations to Dynasty. Dude, what the hell? Just licking my wounds. Yeah, we're gonna unpack everything here in a second.
And congrats.
Thank you very much.
As a beast.
Thank you. Dude, I realized like I'm not sore at all.
Yeah, I feel like
I'm not tired. I feel like I've realized now playing the snakes way easier than I thought. You guys are laying down the whole time. Sitting down the whole time. You don't talk very much.
One of those points you were crawling so slow, I could see maybe you were taking a nap. That's why you.
I was crawling. I think it was the point where, like under 2 minutes. I looked at the clock. I'm like, oh, minute 45. I better get this going here. Try not to kick up the dust.
Yeah.
Speaking of the dust, I've got it everywhere still. Mm-hmm. My gear bag's full of dust.
Blowing your nose.
I talked to Jerry Devereaux today, and he's like, dude, I bought a hamburger, and the wind blew, and I looked down at it, and it was just a big dust burger. He's like, I would have thrown it away, except it was too expensive.
I was just leaving my complex, and I was going down the stairs, and I see a Pokeball just on, like, open, completely full. It looked like it had been shoveled back in there, and I was like, I bet this guy was, like, coming upstairs and just dropped it on the ground. Was so mad. Just left it right in the middle of the stairs, full. No lid on it. Pokeball.
Don't eat that. So anyway, thank you, everybody, for all the support. Thanks, everybody who showed up. I heard a couple people shouting from the sidelines, Spick and Span rules.
Yeah, there was a lot of Spick and Span support.
There were a lot of Spick and Span supporters out there, dude.
We might have won an award. Maybe.
We did. Yeah, we picked up a lot of hardware. Actually, we won Innovator of the Year.
Look at that.
Yeah, look at that.
Surprise award.
The Summit Surprise Award, Innovator of the Year. Just got to put this Spick
and we got to talk the award show, because that was epic.
Yeah, that's one of the things that we're going to talk about, highlight, actually. I think, because everybody here should have been able to... Everybody
live
here,
stream, right?
He was live streamed, but it wasn't as like high quality as
it's like 420p.
Yeah, look at this little A is just falling off here.
Yeah, I saw that. Look
at that.
I saw Keith.
Innovator of the Year.
Keith said like Snake Player O the Year.
Yeah, I got Lex Player of the Year. Lex. I thought it said Alex on it. I wasn't sure. Weird.
How long were you muted for?
I don't know. How long were we muted?
No. Was it just a second?
Just a second? That's weird. Must have accidentally pushed something. So anyway, I'm not sure where we were, but we're gonna talk a little bit about the award show, because that was the one thing that wasn't like high def streamed. I did see on Major League Paintball they did a live stream there. Obviously, like you said, it's not 1080p.
Yeah.
It looked like the original Spick and Span shows. But and we'll discuss, kind of why it wasn't on 4K Go Sports. But it was basically a tight turnaround.
I feel like we could zoom in a little bit.
Let's zoom in a little bit. Let's do it. We can't, because we're going to bring up the projector here, and then it's going to cover our heads.
I'll just hide these boxes over here.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Here, we can do this. You're right. We can fix this. Let's fix this. There we go. Boom. Still got the boxes over there. Yeah, and look, it's all a work in progress. We're gonna get all that stuff going. But first of all, want to thank our show sponsors and supporters, I suppose from all of you guys out there, to Gen X Global out there in full force. If you guys bought pots from them, good on you. GG Sports, they're throwing a tournament next weekend. You can check that out. There's a link down below. Matrix Gear supporting us through day one, and I just found 2 Matrix shirts right up there. So we've got 4 t-shirts to be thrown in the pile.
Nice.
JT, John, GI. Obviously, the paint had a lot to do with the success, having the different types of variety. Big thanks to you guys for getting that.
Yeah, because it was good, like, paint as far as, like, temperature goes.
Yeah, it was, like,
you
perfect.
could have some brittle paint, or you could have it harder if it got cold, because the weather did change a little bit.
Weather changed quick.
Morning, yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about that. We'll also discuss the playing conditions, because those afternoon games were rough.
Yeah. But overall,
yes,
I might give this event, like, a 9.5, 9.7 out of 10. Like, I don't know.
Really?
I mean, well, just like overall with the award show.
Oh yeah, when you add the award show,
just all of it, I was like, it felt like a World Cup. Like just how epic it was, and then both going to the summit award, or not the awards, but the actual summit yesterday, and just seeing like
that was cool, right?
Yeah, it was nice.
And that's going on right now. We actually talked about doing the summit live from the venue. But just didn't work out with the schedule.
Might have been good to get out of there.
It was probably good to get out of there. It's probably healthier to get out of Vegas.
Healthier to get out of there.
To be completely honest, I don't know if Camille was going to let me leave. Yeah, and Vegas Venom, that's what I was talking about. The sun in my eyes was probably one of the worst conditions that I've had for a long time.
I just saw you put that hat on for like a new style or something you were trying out.
Oh, yeah, the hat. I was like, man, I don't know if I've had a picture of myself. Yeah, I was playing like that. That's exactly what I was playing like. I got shot from a guy because I had to put my hand in front of my face because I was like, all right, well, there's someone in that 50 snake. So I'm going to go and sit. And I got shot in the back. I'm like, great, So it was challenging. Challenging conditions for sure. Also, before we get our guest on here, Todd, if you're watching this, I do have to show you this one thing because we know that the Yarbers weren't here. We didn't have Chris Shear. We were down to 8 guys. It was the skeleton squad, which is actually kind of nice. So I'm going to show you guys something real quickly. Because I just don't like these images here. We did, because Dynasty's on Baby Watch 2024, right? Everybody's, it's like, it's like going down.
Hot zone.
Right, it's the hot zone. It's the hot zone. But we do, have an announcement here. Hopefully not too much. We got Baby Yarmer in the house. Look at this little guy.
Wow.
While we were playing the finals.
Yeah, I know.
While we were playing in the finals.
I feel like that's a good omen.
Oh, it sure is, right?
Yeah, for both of you guys.
Yeah, it's Bennett Yarber, 8 pounds 2 ounces, born during the finals match. Mom and baby are happy and healthy.
So Blake made a good choice, maybe.
He made a good choice. I'm not rolling the dice. I think Laura the week before was like, I'm just not feeling it. And he's like,
Imagine after the semifinal, Blake gets a call like, I gotta go.
Yeah. Oh, also congratulations everybody who was figured out how to use a VPN and with betting. A couple of friends of mine made 10K each or more. I think maxed out.
Yeah.
Everybody I talked to made money. So congratulations to you guys. Hopefully, and they also pulled their money out.
My friend that I talked to, that you also know, I guess he started getting limited on.
Yeah, he started getting limited.
All right, you got too much.
You've been winning too much, but also already cashed out. So that was always a concern. Like, well, are they going to pay you? Yeah. And yes, they did. So we are going to.
Yeah, Blake's in here. He said he dodged the doghouse.
Dodge the doghouse. Let's give our guy a call. So we're gonna get our guest.
One of our new resident guests.
Resident guest. That's it.
We're talking about it.
On the NECTR projector here, brought to you by the boys over at NECTR. We got they came out in full force this weekend. I'll tell you also, I popped in some NECTRs before my speech because I was pretty gassed, and I felt like I was just dialed.
Your speech at
the award show.
Oh, okay.
I felt like I was absolutely dialed in. There he is.
New resident guest.
Oh, boy. Let me see how to do. All right.
Let me see how to do this. There he is. Let me get the volume up all the way. How you doing, Todd?
Hi, buddy.
So
you got Champ and Spicka.
yeah.
You're over there too. Get over here.
Oh, trust me, I'm right beside you, buddy.
Yeah.
You know, we titled this episode First and Last. So, and you know what I was thinking, Todd? For as great of a personality as you are, and how good you are in front of a camera, we need to get you a little studio set up. We need to get you some lights,
some stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can go to my closet too if you guys want.
It's huge.
I forgot. Someone asked me that too. They're like, "You guys have a big closet there." I'm like, "It's a garage, but there, yeah." I guess.
Yeah, it is. Well, we were just talking about the Summit Awards. How'd you like those?
That was amazing.
It was cool, huh?
Epic, right?
No, it's so different, so good. So good.
I mean, that was one of the I think one of the coolest things they've done in paintball in a long time. Like, so it was like it's magnitude of like tournament on the beach at Huntington Beach, or like it was pretty rad.
Yeah, everything about it, right? So I text Tommy. You got to excuse me. We flew all night, by the way.
Yeah.
Had a nice 5-hour layover in Dallas, so we landed about 1:30, 2 o'clock here. So it's been a little crazy. Yeah, it's good. It's good. So I texted him and I said, "Man, I don't know. I haven't been to something like that, and just like you said, I don't even know when. That was next level. They went out on a big reach. God knows what that stuff cost, but with the awards, with their tie-in and everything, and that next day I went to all our meetings, right, the pro meetings, and just all kinds of stuff, the social media meetings, and it was really, really interesting, really good.
Yeah, it's definitely something that the sport has needed, obviously. But no one had ever really taken the initiative to invest and take the gamble to make something like that happen, right? We've had the extravaganzas, we've had things that kind of like were all on their own, but what Tom and Bart, Randy, Dave, and the brass at the NXL have managed to do with that, I mean, that was there were 900 people, I think, is what they counted that came in. So there are 900 people there. I saw someone complaining that he's like, "Well, thanks for denying my entry because I was wearing cargo pants." And it's like, dude, you were
happen?
Like you knew what you're supposed to wear, like
right.
And they were pretty lax on it. Like one of our, Steve.
They were.
Yeah, they were. We all wanted people in there, just come on.
No. It wanted to be a little nicer, next level, special deal. It's amazing they let FRAIGE in there for what he was wearing, but that's typical for somebody that lives under a bridge in Vegas.
Yeah, that is
down on his luck.
Yeah, FRAIGE seemed like he was down on his luck that night.
Big time.
He crushed it. His joke. Did you hear all of his jokes?
Woo! No. That was one of the only things. You could hear pretty well, but literally with that many people, and of course I got myself and Tyler Stansel, the owner of the Shop Kids. We both got Aftershock and the Femmes and the Shop Kids, 2 cabanas, and they put us right all the way farthest corner possible. So they knew.
You guys were by the bathrooms.
They knew, and when I was walking in, I literally got wanded down, and they asked if Mike Bruno was possibly coming. I said no, he won't be here. So security was ready for us, but not ready for us, should I say?
His jokes were good. Yes, his delivery. He'd never done anything. He was a little nervous. We were also had a big day, so it was obviously it was a lot to do in one single day. But he crushed it. And his were right after our awards, right? So it was a tough act to follow, myself and then all of you guys. But then I don't think you guys stopped hooting and hollering and talking shit to Adam Gardner for like, I don't know, for 35 years that I've been playing paintball. But no, like that whole night, you're like, you guys are like, to the bars! Rob! Just, dude, it was like a whirly dervish of pretending like they were back in the 90s again, running through the woods.
It was something like that.
So yeah, you might not have heard everything that was said right after that.
Right.
How do you feel about the event itself, the NXL? How do you feel about, we'll talk about the shock, your performance, your division, what's going down with everything there?
Yeah, no, the event. Obviously, we were there for. We left at 1 a.m. this morning, so we were there for 15 days, right, in Vegas, straight through, and it was a little bit taxing, but the event, they had the construction on that park, so Fatty and his staff really did an awesome job doing and using what they had to work with, right? So I got there right, I was there before they showed up, and then I went out and met them, and it was just virgin, right? All their tractor trailers had showed up, and their guys were just getting in, and they hadn't done one thing, and it was it really turned out for sort of the logistics and the layout, right, of it. Parking being a little bit away on the backside. Other than that, I can't see what people could complain about. You know what I mean? A little dust. It's Vegas. The grass is dormant, so that is what it is, right?
Totally.
They had some the weekend before. They had some huge my style hurricane winds came through, and they just those guys. They work straight through to build that thing, and then rip it down and tear it down and leave it like they found it. It's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, actually, and to point this out, right, because obviously Tom has got loyal supporters, and just the complete opposite of the spectrum, where they think that he's stealing everybody's money and doing the worst for paintball. and this is an interesting stat that, it still kind of blows my mind, but he's like, we set up and take down the largest paintball field in the world 5 times a year. So if you think about that, the infrastructure that goes on, and he told me because they calculate everything. This, you run, plenty of big operations. It's how many hours is this going to take me, and how many man hours is this going to take me to set up and take down? And it was he quantified it. He broke it down so many times, kind of explaining how expensive it is. Sure. He's like, if one person were to do it, I think it takes a year and a half if one person was to actually, as far as man hours. Or something like a full year it would take you to actually, if you had to do everything, it would take you a full year working 8 hours a day.
Jeez.
Or something crazy like that to set up the whole thing. So there's a lot that goes into it. You're right. And I'll say this. I complained, right? I don't care if the dust is whatever. That's controllable. I was a little bit bummed that we had to play East and West, right? At that 5 p.m. game that we were playing every day, that was miserable. You couldn't see a thing, and the temperature changes were so quick that, at one point in time, I walked over, we were playing the Russians, and my bunker was just deflated. And they're the refs would, as soon as the point would go, the refs were running around, they'd blow up 2 bunkers, and then by the time they got to another one, those 2 are already deflated.
I saw that match. You guys like, wait, can you
Yeah,
them?
they're
And
no.
they're like, nah, we gotta get going.
Yeah, no, that's you're exactly right. So, Fran is the head of our pit crew, right? And he goes, I hope they're able to lay it out logistically where the sun's not a factor, right? Mm-hmm. So we had a 7:15 game. Tammy and a lot of people. I mean, it's the largest. Tammy and the Shop Kids had the Femme Fatales and the Shop Kids had 6 o'clock, 6 a.m.
6 a.m. games. It was dark.
It was dark. Double times, right? So we're there at 4.
Jeez.
4:30. It's 40 plus degrees. You get all your shit out. Their pit crew comes. They got an army in a village to try to man
and
and
you guys are all
and
from
get
Florida, so 40 degrees for you guys is
zero light, to set up with, and it was that's what it takes, though, right? So they sell time. They sell time is what they sell. How many reps can you get on those fields from sunup, playable reps from sunup to sundown, and how much space did they have where they could set up that many fields to accommodate that many teams to run, that logistics. And, the pro field with that ground, that grate, some of those sprinkler heads and all that, they had no choice but to sort of run it somewhat that way, east-west. And it was a hinder. I watched your guys. We went back, because we had early games, and we watched film in the hotel, and your guys late games, and then film late, right, each day. And watching your games, just the shadows and the hinder, right? Of course, competitors will look at you and go, well, we had to play the same, right? So you play 1 point from one side, 1 point from the other. And in those points where you got to play with the sun in your eyes, you got to just sort of take that into consideration in your game plan and sort of cross it up and slow play it, right, until people come out of the darkness, and get in the mix, and vice versa. So, again, the largest ever non-World Cup tournament, and it's the first one of the year. These minute little things that somebody could bitch about, right, that lives at home behind, in a closet to rip on people that are trying to do the best good for the sport. They're always going to be there because that's the way life is, right? It takes, well, everybody's got a little something. So it was amazing to pull it all off the way they did.
Yeah, and look, you need haters to make sure that you don't get complacent at the same time.
100%.
Right?
Trust
we
me,
need people.
Your public will keep you straight.
They'll
keep you honest.
Yes, absolutely. And look, Blake pointed it out here. It's kind of like, and I say this too. It's obviously easier for me to say it to when I'm coaching teams or whatever. If it's like raining, it's really hard for me to process it when it's like when I'm cold and miserable. But it sucks for the other guys too, right? And you said it, like, yeah, we're looking into the sun this point, but guess what? Their bunkers are deflated also, and they're gonna be looking into the sun the next point. So let's, what do they say? Make lemonade or whatever it's gonna be. Whatever it is. It sucks for both guys. Okay, if it's a 6 a.m. game, guess what? We're going to be better at 6 a.m., even though it isn't fun for us, than those other guys, because they're going to still be complaining about it. So it's how you process the info. And yes, some people will be like, I wish I was playing in the evening. And then I'm like, well, yeah, but at the same time, you got the sundown, and you got this, and we have to sit around all day. Like, the afternoon brackets are kind of tough, man, like, to manage the time and figure it out. Like,
if there's delays at all.
Yeah, it all, at the end of the day, everything compiles. Every mistake or mishap or argument compiles on top of it, moving all the way over there. So
absolutely.
Hey, how did you guys feel the field was for you? Like, did it match up to your guys' practice? How did you guys do in practice versus how you did at the event? Did you feel like some points or things were missed at all?
Well, let's just look at the results, right? Look at our beautiful fan club. The Midwest loves us, and they want us to kill it and want us to win. Other people were out there saying, 0-4, right? So, and I love the bad press more than the good press, because that, like you said, it not only keeps you honest, it fuels you up. And our practices, so that layout was a little different, right? It's not symmetrical, not traditional, super crazy, super goofy. And it had attributed to a lot of teams. I don't think any of the top teams, we'll call it, were not prepared for it, because everybody got their play time. I'm sure everybody did their reps or even more, since they had more time since World Cup till now to prepare. And top team like Damage just gets nuked the first day, right? We had our practices against Kyle and those guys, and they were fantastic practices. You got bottom brand new tier teams that that new to the deal, that everybody said they're going to go 0-4, and they were able to win games, and or all their other games were somewhat close.
Yeah.
It's not like Aftershock. You know, we prepared. You know, we grinded a little bit overdose because we were behind the 8 ball, right? Because we hadn't been a team, and we hadn't had collective, you know, to cohesive build players together with some of the new ones, this, that, and the other. Yes, a lot of the players had played together. Yes, the core of that team had won this event, you know, in 2020. But playing that untypical field, it really it really messes with your mind, right? So you're playing a game and you're like, you know, I can, you know, the snake's available to me always at one point, but the other side, you know, if you played soft and they took that snake, which is available to them at all times, you know, it was you pretty much, you're able to see it in the results. And if you watch, you know, go back and watch Go Sports and watch those games of all the teams, you know, rarely did you just see a team just get nuked off the field. I mean, ML Kings did, or Miami Kings, whatever their name is, for the first day, they got nuked, right? They were 0-6, 0-6. And they're, you know, they're a Florida-based, not a bad team, you know. They were a middle pack team last year coming into this season, and then the next day they did a little bit better, and I think they got a win and a loss, but the other loss was closer, right? You know, like Kyle's deal, you know what I mean? 0-4. I would have never said they went 0-4. I would have promised, and I'm a betting man. I would have, and we practiced them, you know, and I watched them practice, and we played fit, and you know, and Fit's results fit for what I thought Fit would do. They were very close games. You know, a 1-point game, just a little luck or a little bit of different circumstance or a little bit more risk on these bottom or middle teams would have upset some other apple carts, and I loved it. I loved everything about it. You know, you know, a team, you know, a built teamwork team. The Hurricanes, right, with a super coach, were able to make it to the finals. And to be honest, I told everybody that asked me, and I went out of my way to tell some of our older peers, people that run things, that that changes paintball. And I was rooting for them. I wanted the Hurricanes to beat you, right? Because someone that comes from outside the box and organically does something, and it's non-typical, non-hunt players out of region, and you know, pay an exuberant amount for Ferrari style players. They made it to the show, and they just by them making it to the show proved my point. But I really wanted the Hurricanes to win, because that gives every single mom and pop paintball field in America a team that's been playing together and gelling together and some cohesiveness to show that there's a chance that somebody outside the box that doesn't have a built organization and financed, you know, well, can, and I don't know their situation, maybe they're financed well. I don't know, you know, I didn't know anything about them.
Right.
And as I made a joke to Mike, the coach, back in the day, that the you know, I thought they were the New England Hurricanes from like the Boston area back. You know, I swear, I was like, oh, the Hurricanes, those guys.
The guys are back. Oh, Jeff Stein's back.
Oh, those guys are back. Wow, good for them. Well, you know, they're like, no, I mean, they're from Louisiana or something. I'm like, there's no fields in Louisiana. You know, what are you talking about? And then I looked into it a little bit more, and I was like, man, that's great that they have slowly got in, and then they've just, you know, their patience, their time, and they've just been climbing and learning all the different significant margins of error that it takes to be able to win. You guys are as I've already said, and everybody knows, you guys are light years ahead of people. But, and it's not from hard work, and it's not from your dedication, and you guys are, it's deserved every time. But you need luck, right? You need you need the right paint sometimes. Look, the temperature. Look at all the adversities. That's what I'm talking about. The margin of error.
Oh, absolutely.
You play with the sun. You don't play with the sun. You play in the morning, or you play at night. As soon as the sun goes down or the sun's away, it drops 5 degrees every 10 or 15 minutes, right? 5 degrees. So the pressure on the bunkers, or in the morning as it's coming up, those things were freaking. 10 minutes later when the sun was up, the Doritos were.
Oh, the shot's completely different.
You could just shoot right underneath both corners. Like, hey, you burp those things, fellas? They're like, no, burp them yourself. I was like, okay. So, I think this, and with that outcome, and them the way they were right off the rip, winning 3-0 and wheeling. If that's a 10-minute game, they beat you.
They
beat you.
Yeah, it's an interesting strategy.
Again, to show you, I'm talking.
Sorry, I was agreeing with you. Yeah, I hear you.
I know you were. I know you. I'm joking. No, I was just going to say that, it just goes to show you how comfortable your players are and how seasoned they are to be in that kind of deficit with those kind of adversities, and then mentally so good and so clean that it's, you could be down 5-0 and you play every point with gas and purpose to be able. You got a minute and 1 second to tie the thing to go to overtime. And I knew if they couldn't hold you, you were going to win. Okay? So, I and this is the first time they've ever had gambling and betting, right? So I told my buddy who knows how to get on it. I couldn't get on that thing, right? And I'm not, right? Because I'm a pro owner, and no pros can bet on the stuff. But I wanted to know for the first time, what's the odds? And I wanted to know if Vegas or the outside entities that's doing the gaming and this, that, and the other, and wagering, if they had it right? And the odds were 223-1 or 233-1, something like that. And it changed. The odds changed as it went before the kickoff. And that means for every dollar I could bet, I would have to match with we'll call it $233.
Yeah.
The Hurricanes way, right? So, or every dollar I bet, if you guys lost, I'd have to pay the juice $233, right?
Yeah.
So it was pretty amazing that kind of stuff was also going on behind the scenes. Most people didn't know, but it was very, very interesting. Everything about and you guys know I'm a creeper, right? I want to know everything about what's going on everywhere, because if you have all that knowledge, there's a little piece each time that
stacks up to an advantage.
It stacks up to make the margin of errors and why did this happen and what cause and effects and all these kind of things, and that's what it takes. That's what it takes to always be consistently the best.
So, yeah, that's it. Any resources? There's a reason why professional organizations in other sports have a back office, and there's another booth that is just watching. There's a reason why when the coaches are talking, they're doing it like this, because every small micro advantage you can get. It's the same thing everywhere, right? That's why when fiber optic cables were invented, they would build faster cables to be able to get data and information from markets so they could trade on information and news faster. It's just little advantages. Wherever you can stack them up is going to be good. Now, with the amount of money some of my friends have made, I don't know if the same person that was doing the stats will be employed by that company again the next time, because I had a handful of friends that cashed out, had 5 figures out there for the betting on paintball. So if you missed out on that one, you might have just missed a nice little golden opportunity. Talking about advantages and whatnot, well, let me ask you this straight up, because our last conversation, it was, everybody has high hopes and sights. Do you think you're going to win an event this year?
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay. Do you think you're going to win an event?
Yeah.
If you ask me if I think I'm going to win another event, I don't know. I think we can. But you think you're going to win one. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I believe you guys can. I think both of you guys can, right? I feel like your guys' performance, it's just crazy to me.
Yeah.
I have some thoughts on why that happened. I actually didn't watch a lot. I only watched a couple of your matches, two of your matches, Todd, because I was snoozing. that 7:30 game. I woke up and said, "Who won?"
Yeah, no, 100%.
What do you feel like it contributed to going 1-4?
3.
Just
3.
Just
Sorry, 1 and 3.
Yeah, 1 and 3. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, wild card game.
Yeah, exactly. No, I mean, if you look at the scores, and if you watch the film on our games, the Bears game got out of hand. We had a 4-on-2, once or twice. We had the big deal, right, was the first day. We needed to go 2-2. We play Aftermath. We hit them very early, and we were really, really wheeling and dealing. We get a big penalty, and it gets us starting down with 4. In the starting down with 4, the horn was delayed. And
right, I did see that one.
So that allowed those guys to get 2 big points really quick, and then after that, we turned it right around and we said none of this kind of fuckery, right? So we were able to finish the game. I think maybe 5-2, something like that, against Aftermath, and we were on our way to a 6-0 game, right? And I wanted those kind of things. I told those guys, it's the same I would preach at practice against the Russians, Iron Men. I don't care, 10 kids off the street, right? I don't want to blow people away and blow people off their feet, because I don't want a false sense of, get a false sense, a big head. I wanted to learn those. I need to reaffirm, right, to everybody that, it's just not free, and, things are going your way so good, and then all of a sudden, something happens, right? We had a lot of team interaction that was very learning under pressured situations, and we're learning everybody's psyche, right, and who can perform and who breaks down, who any pointing fingers, as soon as they come off, when they should have been pointing their fingers at themselves. So that first day, the NYX game is what sort of really, really hurt us. That should have been our game, and that's the game we had for a 4-on-2 situation. We were up a point. It went back and forth, close, right, all the way to the very end, and then we couldn't just finish. So we lose that one, I think by 1 probably, and then we go into the next day, and our opportunity is we play the Bears first, and then we play the Impact second. Impact being the leader and the more the top seed. And I wanted to be, 2-1 to 3-0 playing the Impact game, and then we could do that. Allows us to do some different things that would have evened out the game. So now we get into a situation where we're 1-2 going in against Impact, and it's a must win, and they know it's a must win. So we put ourselves in that position, and they're a good team, and they did a great job of coaching. And it was we get up on them 1-0, just nuke them right off the bat, and then of course they just rally right back, and it goes 1-1, and then it goes 2-1, and then we're like, so then we gotta try and put a little more pressure, and then it becomes a 3-1, and then I think we got one back, so maybe it's a 3-2, and then ended up being 5-2 with Impact, I believe, and we're just learning a lot of stuff, right? So obviously, yes, if you ask me anything in my life, are you good at this? And I'm going to say, if I'm not, I'm going to be the best. But in my mind, I'm going to win, right? Just like you say, hey, you got 4 more events, you're going to win one. I said, yeah, I'm going to win one of those. 1 out of 4. I can't see how I couldn't, right? So all you need is the stars to align and put in that extra hard work, and for it to work, right? So we had, we learned things. We learned, some issues on the pro field.
What did you learn?
Just the overall, the mindset of the refs, our guys, coming off and that ref did this, and and this is the situation. This is what happens, and then Todd, the coach, and myself, Todd's running the show, and I tried not to do anything other than I just sort of mimicked whatever he did to us, to back him up and assist. And we jumped all over Trojan in 2 games and said, hey, can you review that, this, that, and the other, and then they go review it. And one of them was in that controversial NYX maybe or Bears, and one of our guys, you see it, and they rewind and they go in their little booth and they come back out and they say, no, this is what happened. He got hit, and he did like this. The kid ran like this, and then when he hit the buzzer, he dove on the thing, And I'm like, all right, all those things, but you're still not 100% right. You see it blow off. They don't know if it blew off the bunker or if it blew off the player. They don't know if the player scrubbed it when he was running to the thing, and then he hits the buzzer, and why he dove on top of the deal, and got all dirty, as he's hitting the buzzer to try to maybe duck it or.
You wouldn't be a very good defense attorney.
It's just not. I was like, man, all right. So so we go back and watch stuff, and we're like, hey, man, that looks like it got you, and here you are. So we had a good interaction with the team. When they bring us information, it needs to be to the best of their knowledge, not hearsay and not this, that, and the other, because we don't want to run to the referees and just pound them every time. Oh, you blew that, blah, 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 or this or that, or to Trojan. And, these guys are doing their job. They've got their system set up to try to make it as clean as possible. And we get, if something's missed or if a person makes a mistake, we get it. It's human error. And, they say sorry. I swallow it. I say, thank you, if they say sorry, right? Or if they just stick to it and they show us and they prove us, no, our guys did right. Here's the deal, and you got to assess the right penalty for the right the right fine for the right breaking the law, right? So so we learned a lot of different things as we were going, and we were always saying, even you guys pick it up. I had good talks with some of your management and about some things, and they're always learning, right? They're always learning. You guys try to get your system down and these things, and then always something, some little thing can intervene in any of those compartments that lead to success. They can intervene. So overall, I thought I'm very happy with what happened.
Okay.
We had just the support alone, and
undeniably, you guys have a ton of support. It's actually really cool to see. Not just the people who are old fans of Shock, but just everybody's a fan of Shock, which is really cool.
Yeah.
I'm a fan. I actually talked to Billy Wing this weekend at the ceremony on Sunday, and I was like, hey man, well actually I mentioned it to Dave also, but Billy more so. I was like, look, I'm really glad that you guys are putting money into the Ironman to getting them going, and I was like, and it's awesome. It's thank goodness that you came along to revamp Aftershock. And we said that on our last show when you were here. I mean, like it's important, and you've got fans. Like people love it. And you're doing it right you're producing all the great content. Like you're doing everything right. You're creating stars.
Yeah, and that's another thing, right? So I really enjoyed the entire Vegas experience. It was taxing, but I mean, I'm really busted. I'm going to need therapy for a little bit, but learning.
We can go together.
Yeah. 2 for 1. Tell Mark.
Right.
Send it. We need it. So, no, the overall experience, right? So we're doing, and we're doing a lot, right? So I had 20 people there playing 10-man, right? So there's an ICPL classic paintball event at Vegas. Right?
That was cool.
And not a lot of people knew. Some people knew, some people don't. So I try to sit back and pretend like if I didn't know anything and I was there with my kids to go, let them swing on the swings. And then I walked in through this midway and saw all this stuff that no one's really ever seen. And then you walk to the end, and they're hard to get to you because yours is guarded, right? You got the VIP in front of it. You got the big bleachers. You got security to get in on that side. Then if you go through the tunnel, in between the semi-pro and your field, you got a guard at that end. So they can't see the pro field. But coming down through there, they're able to see the other all the other divisional fields, and then our 10-man field at the end of the midway, which was really perfect placement. Was great, right? A great mixture of really good teams for the ICPL 10-man, and then we have the class, which was mechanical, right? And then you've got the 7-man on Saturday, which Image.
Wait, there was a 7-man happening there?
Oh, absolutely, buddy.
No way.
So the MLP, right? So there's always a MLP 7-man mechanical at every all 5 events. The ICPL just happened to be. Did you just hit Kyle?
No. We got mosquitoes in our closet.
Very nice, very nice. You guys are very
California. Yeah. We live in a 900 square foot, $3 million beach
mosquito
house.
den.
Mosquito den.
Exactly, mosquito den. Keep it. Yeah, stay classy over there, boys.
San Diego.
So San Diego, just so expensive. So 7-man. Yeah, there's a 7-man at every event, right? And then there is a 10-man. Amateur electric full space gun, right? Regular MLP guns. That's on Sunday. So we played a mechanical 10-man ICPL on Friday, all in a rip, right? You're starting in the dark, same deal, 6 a.m. game start, because they got to do it to run it all through, right? Mm-hmm. And then they ran it all through, and then because of the time change, you got to start a little later, and the 7-man was smaller, and it went quicker. And the 7-man's on the 5-man on the MLP layout, right? So it's 7 guys on your layout, our layout,
really,
but mechanical. Yeah. So it allowed that slower gun, but in real life, if a person can rip a mechanical.
That would have been fun. I bet that'd be so
faster,
fun.
Yeah, it was fantastic. They're good games, with that limitation of mechanical people, even with the extra 2 bodies, it was bloody, right? It was bloody up through the middle and bloody down both snakes. And it was super good. And then Sunday was their regular 10-man deal, and there was a ton of teams in that, and that went late. Actually, that's where I watched you guys, because Image and a team from the WC called Wicked.
Yeah.
Beat Image. They beat the shit out of
Dude,
Image.
Wicked, those guys don't mess around. Those guys are good.
Hey, they were. I went back over to my guys, and I was like, hey, listen, this is the final game. You're playing this WC team, and they all are gritty looking. And the 10-man field's giant. They got the giant Mayan pyramid. They got, looks like 100 bunkers. Looks like 50 bunkers on each side. And it's just so dark in the middle, so cluttered with so much stuff. These little guys were just up in the mix, right? So you can tell, right? You look at a team and you're like, they look, a couple of them look like they can get down, a couple of them look like they can't, and you don't know about the rest. These guys were nasty. Right? They were just everywhere. All 10 players got up in the mix, and everybody fought, and they closed the gap with their front guys, and they all played together. So it was a really good game for us, and we were able to put it on them because, I have a mix of, in these kind of, those events, I stake the best horses that are available, right? Somebody either from a Rodney Squires.
Rodney Squires, I saw that he was playing with Shock. We were like, you did what?
Oh, buddy, come on. He's played with us several times. And there was three or four All-Americans, We got far side guys. We got, it's a mix of everybody.
Yeah.
There was, divisional and because you can't have the Sunday deal. You can have a D1, maybe 1 or 2 D1s, right? We had Andy Horvath playing with us and guest with us, and he killed it. JP Augustine had cap players playing with us. You know what I mean? So it's really a fun a fun mixture of people that would never typically play together ever. And I've been doing that for the last 6-8 years with this kind of deal, and it's good, right? So it's a different look if people's walking through that midway and they walk over there like, oh, what's this? This one's giant and got all these big crazy deals on it, and there's a lot more guys.
And did you play?
No, I didn't because of the girls, the shop kids, and Aftershock. It's just like you said, it's too taxing. Right?
The first thing that came to my mind when I saw that field, you realize that field, that gigantic center thing, that's where the same type of layout that we played you guys.
I know
when you beat us. Yeah. I was like, oh, Todd up the middle. You were hiding in that. You were squeezing in between those big old things. Riot Shield pack.
That's it, baby.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah. Todd Martinez saved it on that one, and you guys got us back World Cup. That was it.
Oddly enough, I got Todd. Andy Horvath had that jersey of Todd Martinez signed, and he had thrown it out there because he does a lot of different jerseys and jersey sales, and I immediately reached out to him and said, hey, listen, that's mine. I want you to bring that there, and I'm going to buy it from you, whatever the number was, whatever you're going to sell it to people on the street. And I gave it to Todd on Thursday night.
Really?
Todd's he had a storage unit somewhere in San Diego, and with all his lots of collectible jerseys and everything, they were in there, and they got ripped off.
They got ransacked.
Just recently. Yeah, they just got ripped. They got ransacked and ripped off, and it was that's a horrible deal. So when I saw that, I wanted to reach out and get that because
very cool.
Todd doing this for me and joining me to do this and go down this adventure is huge. Is huge. So I wanted to give him a payback, and I got him his jersey and gave it to him with the team on I think it was probably Thursday night before the event. Yeah.
That's really cool. That's that's a very cool full circle moment. And shout out to Andy Horvath, dude. He's like, he is so dialed in with like all the everything in paintball, and he's got the coolest jersey. He's got a killer jersey collection. And so I'm a fan. I'm a fan of anybody who's a true fan of the sport, where they are so indulged in every small nuance and aspect across 10-man to pump to the rocket ship guns or whatever it is. It's neat. Yeah, it's great.
No, it's good. It's good.
Talking about just the actual pro side of events. So, still getting the juices flowing with you guys. Some bad calls, some things here, one way or the other, kind of changes little bits. And you mentioned about PB Fit also, who's actually in our group. I feel like they were underwhelming. They disappointed me at this event, even though they did well. And I would argue that Blast Camp, I think it was incredibly impressive. The way that they brought it to everybody, they beat you guys. But, I mean, they were in it with X Factor. They were in it.
We didn't play them.
Blast Camp?
No, so they didn't beat us.
Oh.
They might have, though. We got beat by Blast Camp. So Fit might have beat us, too.
Yeah, Blast Camp.
I thought you said Fit.
Oh, no, I said I'm
okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay, you just put the Jedi mind trick on me.
Oh, okay.
No, so I was saying that Blast Camp was impressed me more than PB Fit did.
Oh, okay.
Because I believe that everybody thought that PB Fit, myself included, was going to do much better than they did. They had, I would say, a significantly easier bracket than Blast Camp did. But Blast Camp, every game aside from our game, they were close with the Russians. They were close with X Factor. I mean, they beat you guys, barely. But it seems like
what I was impressed about them too is they were composed and chill. They didn't have this tensed up as a new team coming in where they just kind of free flowed and able to play their own game and their own style, which is cool.
Yeah, they did good. They definitely did good.
What do you think about the upset teams? What caused it? What I'd like to talk about: damage, Diesel, you guys. I mean, we kind of talked a little bit, but I mean, I feel like those are really the stories. Not dynasty winning, but like you guys taking last place is bonkers, man.
Yeah.
No, I think it's like I said. I don't know. You had time on the field, but I think the field plays and confuses, right? So you don't have typical, just everything's good over here. If they're there, then it's this. If they're there, it's this. It was, well, they can get beside me on one of these sides at any given time. So we're trying to hold them or buffer that, and some of those things don't work. They can just, if you didn't have eyes to spy certain deals, they were up in you, right? And then when they surprise you, our guys were like, "Oh my God, they made it to the fucking blah blah blah," and I was like,
"Yeah, it's gonna happen.
Anybody can make it to the blah blah blah. You play like the blah 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 is hot all the time because it's fucking right there beside you,
yeah,
right? So if he takes that risk and reward, and you guys are all the way across the field, and he comes out and wheels and deals right in your face, and you don't see it coming because you're playing heads up and you're hunting and you're playing in and you're doing some kind of job that's been, put on you by the coach. And that's if you watch film, and that's what I watch typically time and time again, right? So they added these snake beams to make this sport and fix this field so that there won't be a 0-1 game in 15 minutes, right? Or 10 minutes, whatever our time limit is, right? So, the opportunity to, if you wrap and shoot the only eyes that can see you go through a literally 24-inch gap, and you hit that ground and you don't fucking send up a dust cloud, then, as most teams use danger or red alert, it's always red alert.
Oh yeah.
Well, I don't know. He's not at that Dorito anymore. Then where is he? Well, he didn't go backwards, I can assure you. So he's in one of three places. The first knuckle, the second knuckle, the biggest bunker on the field, which is completely beside you.
Yeah.
Todd, in your practice, did you guys on the layout? Did you guys utilize the middle a lot?
No, not as much as we should have. Not as much. I think Ryan, I don't know if it was you, somebody came to me and said, Al Fernandez, I saw him shoot somebody.
Yeah, that was me.
Ever. And I was like, yeah, it was you, right? So I'm like, Al's my boy. He's got it. He's got it in him.
Yeah.
It's just, Al needed
a spark.
He hadn't had an opportunity, and he needed more motivation for himself and a team. And so that's why Al Fernandez is on this team, because we know what Al Fernandez can do. And those kind of centers cater to him. So the more he would get up in the middle, the better he would do. The more he would get up in the mix, and the more he would go, because the middle was the same deal, right? It's got 3 big middles with a fucking beam, and beam. And if you took that risk and went all the way to the good side, you're equally beside the bad guys.
Yeah. Well, not to mention that every spot in there can get shot in the back by the whatever direction you're not looking.
Yeah, that Dorito side wedge snake.
Yeah, that was the only.
Like that guy could come in there quick and shoot like basically all 3 middle fortresses.
And I'll tell you. Go ahead.
No, that's what I was saying about Al, right? So if he got up in there and he shot somebody, then he would immediately go to work. But if he got up in there and he's holding somebody, that's when he would get picked apart, right? Because then they would recognize, or they would go to the other Doritos, and then they just come off of it, look inside, and you can't hide from any of that at any of those 3 blocks. So they would just eat him up in his pack because he's carrying 23 toots. I'm like, Al, why are you carrying so many toots? Well, if I got a hold, and the game goes wrong or whatever. Literally, that middle catered to the aggressor so much that if you could do a job, get a kill, surprise somebody, but then you needed to immediately go right to the limits of their side, closest to that Dorito, and that was most important to hold, by the way, and then try to hunt the middle, spy the voids, and find somebody, and if they're at any one of those 2 small little wedges, try to run them or pick on the back center or either of those 2 towers in the middle that were sort of offset.
Yeah, if anybody here who's watching this wants to know how to play the middle, watch the Russians games and watch how Kirill did it. Kirill played the middle. Kirill probably played the middle the best out of anybody. Colt did a good job as well. But I mean, as soon as you get discovered, be ready to get bunkered. So get out of that spot quickly. Like, I mean, he won a 3-on-1 against us. He almost won another 2-on-1 against us.
He somehow put a force field around himself when I bunkered him because my trigger didn't work.
Oh yeah. But I believe that on this layout, and Todd, you mentioned it, right? You're like, oh, you're confused. You're somehow surprised that somebody made it past this small 6-inch gap from the god money into the snake, and then you're going, oh well, we can do it. Of course they're going to be able to do it, right? But it's happening on opposite sides of the field, and so many people, and this is why the Hurricanes did really well, and Kyle, this is why I believe you guys didn't do very well. Is so many people put so much emphasis on the snake because it was so easy to get into it, right? You can load 3 guys over there and look at this. We're gonna turn the field, and we'll just have to get by the one guy that's the one asshole that's sitting in that little W, just because that guy was a pain in the ass to get around. Hurricanes did a great job. That guy would just sit there and go and it's like you're battling out of like a very difficult spot once you get there. But it was so easy to get there that it was so inviting. So we're like, you guys are like, all right, let's send Mouse over there. We'll send Gonzalez over there. We'll send all of our guys that way, and we'll like try to turn the field. And then you would be the lone man, or Cody would be like the lone man over on the Dorito side. Just be like, just don't lose it over here.
Yeah.
We'll win it down here and don't lose it. And then the other teams are doing the same thing. They're like, all right, we're gonna win it over here. But what the chink in the armor there, or the Achilles heel, is if another team goes head to head with Mouse or goes head to head in those Doritos. Next thing you know, you're like, well, hold on, I can't turn the field any longer.
Yeah.
And I think, and this is why the Hurricanes did so well, is because they got you on every single corner. They weren't like, let's push it down the snake, because that's the most, right? You said any idiot could go through the air. Of course he's going to be in the snake, right? That's, you always play like the snake's hot, especially on this field, because it was so easy. Look, 42, I was making it in there, no problem, right? Like, that was the easiest snake to get into.
Yeah.
But the Doritos side, which is pretty much your mirror, was really difficult to get into. Mm-hmm. And the back center could stop it. There were a lot of spots that could stop it, and generally speaking, because of how difficult that side was to make it, you'd only put 1 or maybe 2 guys there, and the other guys would all go to the easy side to push, and the more inviting side. And you have this false sense of security because you see your guys turning the field, and you're like, we're going to obviously win this. But one asshole in that little W is just so hard to dig out that we'd start dinking guys. And if you don't have equal pressure on both sides of the field, so I believe that a lot of teams were playing the field incorrectly, right? They weren't giving enough respect to that Dorito side to balance out the pressure. Because the second you get out wide on that Dorito side, it makes it so the other team's snake guy can't wrap, so he has to play inside from that snake 3-beam, the big wedge. At that point, now he can get shot from anywhere on the other side of the field from the snake. He can get shot from any of the corners. So it renders him almost useless. But if you're not respecting that outside tape over there, then that guy is just hidden from any opportunities. And then the corner guy, you can't shoot him. So the more penetration you get on your side without doing it on the other, allows them to turn the field. And now you get really far up the field. And you're like, I can't see anybody. Mm-hmm. So you need to get out wide on that other side. And I think that that's what a lot of teams neglected that Dorito side, and they had such a false sense of security being able to turn the field that they're like, oh, we're doing way better at this and way better at holding than the other teams are, so we're just going to go with this plan. And I think that's what your guys' game plan was. I mentioned it to you. I was like, you need to get out wide over here. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah. The thing of it is, like you're saying, it's a small baby Dorito for that corner, right, to hold that and sort of stop and buffer that. And everybody would bail there and get there. But it's also, they designed it where it's offset, right? So it can barely shoot down the line. So it can't stop them from getting to the biggest and closest spot to you. But it can shoot the fuck, shoot the fuck out of the guys when they try to get greedy and wrap around it. And you slid out to that little Dorito and nobody knew. And the little Dorito just checks you off quick, and you're halfway down it, touching that middle, and you get caught and clapped up, right? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So I think that field was very confusing to a typical paintball team, and this, that, and the other, and it was I think it was good. I think it was very good for the first layout, and the beams worked, all the trickery and you know, this kind of stuff and untypical things really showed in everybody that wasn't able to perform to their highest.
I mean, I think with the addition of all these beams too, it's going to alter the strategy that we've known for the last like few years.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be like who's able to adapt to these newer styles of paintball strategy that are going to be played and implemented.
Yeah, typically, you know, in the toolbox, you got mouse, so mouse goes to the snake side. Well, what's this other deal? You know what I mean? You're like,
yeah,
well,
yeah.
You know, I don't have two mouses, right? But everybody's got a mouse backup, right? So you're like, all right, well, we could send, you know, unless you're X Factor, then you got Billy and you got Axel, and then you got Husky. So you got three, you know, snake style aggressive people that can do things. And you saw Axel go to the untypical side a lot, right? To that weird side. And then because he would go to to neutralize that, but then he would automatically, with his aggression and the way that catered, so that couldn't stop Axel from coming from the big thing into their 1 and 2, right? So it was sort of a reverse. And if he took that risk, which he lives on risk, and he's a fantastic gunfighter and a very good shot, he could just come right around, and now he's into their side equally as you are on the real snake side, right? So that benefit both ways, and that kind of pressure or aggression. And also, and this is one of the things that hurt us. This hurt us the most, right? So we would do that, but then you lose vision of those guys. We would handle the snake well and get down the snake and get into the mix, but then you're held by like you said, the little wedge to do anything past that. But then we were late to the game on following up the big center in the darkness to help exploit and protect those guys wheeling and dealing on the sides. And also, you know, you were very non-effective from back spots when those guys were all the way up in there. So the field would really just pick on, you know, a whole field would pick on those two big hot spots of whatever they made it to. And you guys, you know, any of the extra guys couldn't do anything about it. They're typically just doing their thing, but that's not helping them because those guys are all crossed up, right? So they can't be effective in the game. They needed to close the distance and get very close for the bang bang to be able to you know, those trades. And once those guys, you know, to try that opportunity of breaking through, like you said, a Colt, you know, going through a weak side or a little bit of a risk on the strong side of the inside middles closest to the snakes, to creep those two guys that are sunk in and shooting across the field, and to be able to pick a loader and then, you know, block yourself from this guy and go to the other guy, right? So that was one of our weaknesses that didn't work for us.
Yeah, that's such a huge piece of paintball knowledge. You know, that's like always what we talk about. You know, when we do these 5-on-3 drills or whatever, and the reason that a lot of teams lose these when you're up on bodies is because everybody tends to take, the 5 guys tend to take a little bit more risks, and then they think, oh well, my buddy's got it. What they don't understand, and this is like a lesson that remember Alex taught you. You said it was like one of the best things he taught, and this is what Mouse always. When he played on Dynasty, this is his biggest flaw. Is like your front guy goes up to the front and they try to do too much. They're trying to win the game right then. They're like, I'm the front guy. I'm the tip of the spear. When I get up here, I got to crawl to their side and I have to get kills. In reality, everybody's shooting at you.
Yeah.
And what we've always had success in, which Todd obviously you know because you're a master, you know, wizard paintball player, is, and you were the back guy. You were the support guy. You're like, hey, fast guy, run all the way up there, shake the bushes around. I'm going to sneak up behind you and shoot at everybody trying to either bunker you or trying to shoot you. And you said that one time, you're like, dude, you had this epiphany and you're like, man, I had like one of the best games I've ever had because you crawled all the way up there and you're like, I didn't do anything. But Alex was able to come right behind you and just start picking everybody's loaders off.
Yeah.
And that's a huge factor. And when I was commentating one of your games, I was talking about Mouse and how well while he plays and sees the field, he can play anywhere. Mm-hmm. And he had Gonzalez playing as the number 1. Probably just wanted a little bit of a breather, whatever it was. But Mouse got to the snake corner and was helping him, and it was like Mouse because that's the best type of player, right? You want the transitional player that knows how to play the front well enough to be able to play behind that person and give them the information as if they were that guy, right? Like a little clairvoyance into the player that's up front there. Mm-hmm. Just Master blastering him around. But what you're getting is you get all that knowledge, but what the disconnect is how the distance. That's the one thing Mouse kind of like took for granted. He was in the corner. Your guy was all the way up in the snake 3, and just the information. Mouse was like, "You got to do this," and I could hear him. He's like telling him exactly what he needed to do, but it didn't quite translate perfectly. Had Mouse closed that gap and gotten into snake 1, which is what Archie did with Danny a lot. Danny would get in snake 3. Archie would get out of that corner and get into snake 1 and be like, "All right, like I'm right here.
Yeah,
I can start dinking guys, or we're gonna launch."
Yeah,
right. And I'm a big fan of that. I know Kyle Breath is in here. I'm telling him to do that a lot with my divisional team, but that's what got us back in that Russian game too. We were losing to the Russians, and Archie was in front of me, and he literally trades out with a guy in front of him, and as soon as that trade out happened, I was in that snake 3 before Archie was like even walking off. So the next Russian guy was like, "Okay, cool, that guy's dead," and he goes to wrap the infield, and here I come. I'm like on top of him already. Now, because we're trying to control real estate, right? Yeah. We want to own as much real estate as possible. So if we have all this and this guy dies, well, now I just gave all this up.
Yeah.
So if I close that gap, not only am I going to be able to see more, dink more loaders, but I'm closer to you. So now you can hear me for sure. Mm-hmm. But then when you die, I'm right on top of that guy again. Don't let them breathe. Otherwise, you let the guys breathe, because if they get a kill out of that spot, that's just a huge boost in confidence. Mm-hmm. And then they go, all right. We just killed Mouse. Now what do? Snake corner? No biggie. Right? But if you kill Mouse and Kyle's standing right on top of you, you're like, "Oh, crap, I'm still on my heels."
Yeah.
So there's a fine line that you got to be able to draw right there that I think is like one of the keys to unlocking a lot of potential. Which is also why everybody has to live a little bit of get a little time in that snake or up front, man. Get a little time in there. Oh yeah.
Yep. No, that's a fact. That's a fact.
Big shout out also. I see Mario's in here.
Aftermath. Yeah.
Dude, congrats to Aftermath.
Big time.
I think it was Maddie was saying it on the webcast. It's like, if you're a divisional player and you're not a fan of Aftermath, I mean, you better jump on.
Yeah, there should be something wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because
they played really good. We had a good game against them, but after that, they really said, "Look, what are we doing?" Steven is on the Shock EU team, right? And and I was watching those guys, and they really left it all out there.
They did. And I mean, I know a lot of those guys were disappointed, but I'm like, man, this is a hell of a showing. Anytime, and that's why, and you mentioned it, you gave a big nod to the Hurricanes, because like, whenever a big budget team makes it to the finals or the semifinals, like, that is a huge win for paintball, right? Because it gives that confidence. Like, I agree with you. Like, if it probably was better for paintball if the Hurricanes won.
Yeah.
Realistically, because it breathes more confidence in it.
I will say though 2 things. Like, that was their first time getting to the finals, and I think there's like 3 pieces of it. It's like, 1 is getting to the finals, and then 2, the next layer is like being able to convincingly beat you guys or get a lead, mm-hmm. and then the last one is beating you. Mm-hmm. They did, which a lot of teams, they get to the finals for the first time, especially pro finals. They only get 1, and that's getting to the finals.
Right.
And they're like never in a position to win. They knocked out 2 and 1.
Yeah.
They just couldn't close it. So
that's exactly right.
Totally. So good on them.
That's the key, right? You got to be there because you got to get that taste. And if they were to have won, then they sit back and they go, "Fuck, this wasn't this wasn't that hard.
Yeah.
The most unachievable thing ever in our lives, and we did it. So how did we do it? What made this happen for us? How did all the stars align? How did all these things happen to get us here? And then, again, perform, produce, and win, and never be there, right? Just think, never been there. You got to play the fucking greatest team that's ever been in the history of paintball, except for Aftershock.
I was so strange coming out of your mouth. I figured there had to be a caveat that you was gonna have.
Yeah, it's in there. It's in there. And to take all that in and not get just your head blown away of all these things, and just you're just looking around starstruck, and here you got guys that do it. This is like textbook. There's no pressure. Right? There's no pressure for Dynasty. They've done it 1,000 times. That's why I said if Mike and the Hurricanes could not hold them in 1 minute and 1 second, the odds are 1,000,000,000,000 to 1 in a 5-minute 1 point. What's going to happen? And after getting the reps and going from 3-0 to 3-1, 3-2, you see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then to the tying point. It's crazy, right? You gotta get there. You gotta absorb it, reel it in, feel it, touch it, and then go, and analyze how did this all happen. Then once you're there again, you're like, oh no, I know this is bad for me, or hey, no, guys, not that. Remember, because that's always made us, never play Sunday, and then you got this deal over here or this deal over here, and you finding all these again, the margin of error. And producing and holding that margin of error down to it's minimal to be able to perform, produce, and be consistently winning.
Hey, you mentioned something earlier, and I always try to touch. This is a touchy subject, and I know obviously we don't even need to cover Aftershock and pointing fingers at each other, but of the old Aftershock. But is it productive? And is there a productive way to, and is it important, or is it cancerous, or is it good or bad? After the game, holding people accountable and pointing fingers to a certain extent.
It's a natural thing, right? It's a natural deal. Hey, you blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody. I was doing my job. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
This guy did this. And it was the cause and effect, and you got shot. You know what I mean? In the points that we didn't do well on the other 3 games that we lost, we got shot out of our bunkers.
Mm-hmm.
But those egos and those just the hype and the vibe and the pressure of coming back, wanting to win, and something bad happened, and then something bad happening, and then something bad happening. It shows kinks in the armor, in a personal armor, right? Not just a team armor, but a personal armor and a team armor, and they're there, and you have to deal with those things, and you have to deal with those emotions, and everybody has to come together, sit down, and be held accountable. But at the same time, everybody has to understand. Well, you should have been up there with him, right? Mm-hmm. He's got 4 guns pounding on him. He should have just sat back and let them eat and let them pound on him, stay alive, and then let the other guys get up in the mix so everybody fights, right? And helps. To answer your question, you got to deal with all kinds of the personalities, the emotions, the egos, in some form or fashion, to be able to get past them, to swallow that pill and come off and go, that was on me.
Yeah.
I overbattled into 2 guns, and that was me. I'm sorry, guys, because once they picked on me and I didn't, yell for you guys, and I tried too hard, or I forced this or that, I could have done this or that, then then you're able to start creating the cures, and it also lets those other guys look at them and go, wow, this person just said, this happened because of him. You know, it's okay to say that. It's okay to do that. We have to get those things out of the way to be able to produce a quality, successful teamwork. Right?
What about you guys, Kyle? How does it go after you've lost 1 or 2 matches, and there were clear mistakes made, or there are mistakes that, like, you know, how do you guys handle it internally amongst yourselves?
I mean, it's obviously talked about. I'm just using this event as an example. Like, X Factor just straight up, like, kicked our ass. Like, there was, like, a lot to go over that was, you know, many different things. It wasn't just one thing. They kicked our ass. But when we played you guys, it was such a close game. We had a good-sized lead twice, and there was, you know, one mouse got pulled early for leaving the box early. Another one, not going to call anyone out, but, like, I'm in a point where, like, right before you came down to come bunker me, is I'm letting another player know, hey, just stay alive, just stay alive, burn the time. I think we had a point or 2 advantage there. Then we lose that player instead of just burning off another 30, 45 seconds. And then when it's so close like that, yeah, I think you do want to talk about the little mistakes, because, and this is a thing that I said that's like a little frustrating, is like we put in so much work, and Todd, you know this as well too, how much time you spent in Vegas and previous. It's like to fuck up on the controlled variables that are like easy to do, that it's really frustrating, because you're like, all that other work is just helping things like be second nature to you. So like, if your fucking shoes aren't tied, it's like, come on, you know?
Yeah.
And that's where like the heartbreak is, you know, when it's like little things like that. And then it was a snowball effect, you know. Maybe if we beat you guys in that match, like, I think I'm fully confident you guys go on, you could probably still win the event, but like, maybe that's just what we needed to do.
Maybe it changes the gears for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Less shroud of doubts.
Yeah.
You know, it's, dude, no one's safe on our team.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, we lost how many in our first 2 matches against you and who did we play? Who was the Russians the first day? You know, we were up bodies almost every time. And if you're the first person to die on Dynasty when we are 5-on-4, it doesn't matter if you're me, you're Harrison, you're Blake Yarber, Alex FRAIGE, you're gonna hear about it, dude. Yeah. And man, like, I overslid and I'm so fearful for like making a mistake.
Yeah.
And that's all, you're constantly thinking this, like, right? Because at the end of the day, and this is what I explain to a lot of players, is like, you got to have empathy, right? You have to have empathy for your teammates. If it's a long point and I'm watching over you, or say, imagine it's Alex, and I'm watching over him, and I can say, I've got you, and we basically like, don't worry about it, I'm not going to let you down, and then I let you down, you get bunkered because I get selfish. Man, that's on me. Like, I let you down, which is going to let the rest of the team down. So there's this fine line that we have, right? And I'm thinking about this. So I'd like hucked it into that California from the back center. Man, I sent it into that thing. I never ran and shot to that thing ever one time.
Yeah.
And to every single player that I've ever coached, and I keep telling you guys, stop running and shooting. I say that because you're not hitting shit, right? You need to be alive. You alive is more important than them dead. I think that Mouse can run and shoot anywhere he wants. Fedorov, J-Rab, Tyler, okay, A-Rod. There's a couple of guys that, you know what, if they run and shoot, they're more likely to hit everybody. But there's a reality that needs to set in that goes, I'm way more important when I'm alive in my spot.
Yeah. Rather
than me sending a few errant balls down the field and hopefully hitting the guy in the back center that might be shooting my lane. And at that cost is me being a bigger, slower target. So I'm sending it, and I overslid the California by like just a hair. Like, I slid out like this, and I got shot in the knuckle, and that was it. That went from a 5-on-4 to a 4-on-4. And then Axel, we were playing against X Factor. Axel was able to fill into that Dorito side, and you know, they won that point. And I was the first one dead, so I got to see the line of guys, Archie, Marcelo, you know, stay alive. And I'm like, dude, sorry, it wasn't like I was trying to do too much.
Yeah.
I wasn't being selfish. I just overslid it. But that's that's the accountability that we hold, right? Because I right now I still feel bad for making that mistake in the prelims against X Factor. But it's important that people have that, right? You have to check the egos. You mentioned that, right? Checking the egos, making sure that, but you know, you want to make sure that the fragile ones don't get broken. But you need to make sure that the players, before they decide to go on some heroic bullshit, that they go, you know what? I'm just gonna turn the wheels really quickly and say, is this, when I roll these dice right now and I make this move, is it going to be worth it? And what are the odds of this outcome? Rather than being like, I got this, it didn't work, whatever, my team's got it. Oh crap, we don't. Mm-hmm. Right? And with some accountability, and as the team gels more, people will become a little bit more locked in and bonded. You know, it doesn't work on a team of mercenaries as much, but once you build that rapport with your guys, you're going to care a little bit more, which is, you know, why I don't want to let Alex and Yosh and Marcelo and all those guys down, because, you know, it's important to me that they can trust me. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I think the finger pointing thing is like, it can be healthy. It just has to be done right.
Yeah, it's delicate.
It's a delicate situation.
It is. It is.
Yeah. So yeah, it's that's it. Do you guys, either one of you guys, I don't think, Kyle, I think I know your answer, but do you feel, Todd, that any of your guys underestimated any of the teams you played?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
And who was in your bracket?
I have them right here.
Bears, NYX, Aftermath, and Impact.
Okay. And you guys beat Aftermath, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you lost to the rest of
NYX was the next game, and it was
that was
very close. That was a catalyst that sort of hurt.
Have you seen your draw for the next event?
Yeah. I think the guys put it on the team chat. I think again I got a fantastic draw.
Yes. So you guys are in with the Bears again. You have Hurricanes, Impact, and the ML Kinks.
Yep. I love that draw.
Yeah, I was looking at it. That's a hard one. Group C is a hard one. The Russian Legion, Infamous, Notorious. Shout out to Notorious. They also played very well. I think Archie Barnes is doing a really good job of now being able to much better absorb pressure rather than getting in there and trying to.
Yeah, Notorious played well.
They played really well.
Yep.
I'm glad I picked them for some of my games.
You still.
I got a lot of thank yous from the team. I was like,
you and Rainey didn't. We did picks, which I'm gonna get you in on the next before. Well, I'll get you on the show before the next event. We do picks.
Yeah, me, Rainey, and Damien all tied for last.
Yes, you guys tied for last, and none of you replied to my text message.
Yeah, we're like, no.
So we do picks just for day one. Okay. Usually there's like it's basically only the loser has to pay, right? So I lost at World Cup, and the bet was I had to kiss my coach. So I had to kiss Skinny Kevin on the lips.
Thank God I didn't have to do that one.
He was going to have to kiss Mike Hinman.
He would have killed me.
I believe this one is you have to do a shoey. So you have to drink a beer out of your cleats, I believe, or someone's cleats.
Yeah, but we're all tied, so we don't know.
That's a rough one. It was going to be a Verbal had suggested whoever loses the next one has to take a Greyhound bus to the tournament.
Oh God, I love it.
I'm going to get you in on the next one. I don't think
that would be that bad. Like I could do that.
Then you could take a Greyhound to the
shit. I might.
Instead of drinking a beer out of your shoes. And, I mean, we like the fun.
I need a big switch up after our performance this event, so that might help.
You might be able to think.
I'll have a lot of time to think on the way
down. And Alex FRAIGE and I had that little bet. I don't know if you guys saw it on my story. He had to put red lipstick on and kiss my.
I saw it.
It's so ridiculous.
That was good. So it was day one, right? So. Both Rainey and Kyle had a pretty dismal day, and they were 0-2. And I was like, "Hey guys," texted them and I go, "Look, I know it's not the best day, but you guys also happen to be in last place on the picks. So if you could just go ahead and pick these games right here," and neither one of them replied back to me.
Everyone kind of just,
they were just like,
without saying anything, they kiss our ass, Ryan.
Yeah.
Todd, I have a question for you. Who'd you guys practice on the layout?
So layout, we practiced in Vegas at a combat spot. buddy, a guy that I believe is the owner of the Vegas Brawlers.
Okay.
So the Vegas Brawlers were there. The Femmes came there. We had the Russians and Ironman. And there was another, Missouri All-Stars. Missouri All-Stars, the KC Missouri All-Star guys. Todd Boyer and those guys. And Miko.
Dude, I heard Miko played really well this weekend. He said he had a blast.
He told me as well, but I have not confirmed it.
No,
I believe,
he said he was in a lot of pain, though.
Oh, no, he's hurting for sure. Him and Paxson driving back from Vegas, their 18 million hour drive back to the mountains.
Yeah, the Great
White
good. North.
Yeah, it's got to be good.
So do you see anything? Okay, so you guys have that, little rematch on the Bears. I think you guys got them. The Hurricanes. That's gonna be a tough.
And I was very happy with the Bears. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They're, everybody, was talking, and obviously our again, our guys, they're like, oh, we're playing the Bears. They're the NRG guys and the Bears guys, just the mix put together. They can't be, this, that, or the other. And that's and those guys rose up and they had nothing to lose and they swung it and they kicked the shit out of us, right? Mm-hmm. And and hats off to those guys. They did well.
They sure did. That was I wasn't expecting, because they lost Frank. And I think Revo also did a lot better than most people thought they were going to do. Yeah. Obviously, these brackets are actually the mix-up is, because when you end up in that bottom bracket, those bottom two tiers, it makes the bracket really hard for you, right? You want to be in the top, but now with so many good teams kind of shaking out on that bottom end, it makes it really tricky, right? Us and X Factor with Fit, Ironman, Extreme, Hurricanes, Impact, Bears, Shock, and the Kings, Legion, Infamous, Notorious, Damage, Diesel. That's arguably the most difficult bracket here.
Yeah, that's a blender.
That's a blender. Yeah, you got pretty much the same exact bracket that you just had.
The blender.
The blender.
Terrible.
And then Aftermath Heat. I'd love to see that as a rematch.
Yeah.
That's going to be great. Revo, Uprising, and Blast Camp. So, a little bit easier for Blast Camp this time around, but not great.
Too, and I talked to Joey about this after, Joey from Damage, and I was like, man, because obviously Damage is right up there, arguably like top 3, right? Mm-hmm. And that was who we practiced on the layout, us, Damage, and New York Wrecking Crew was also a really good team as well. And they didn't do great. I mean, they came up to face my TJ Bastard, so we knocked them out. But they went 2-2, and obviously our results and Damage result. And I was like, man, do you think we had a bad practice? Like, do we not know the layout? And that's also kind of why I was asking you, Todd, too. Like, who did you practice compared to it was you guys, Infamous and Impact? Mm-hmm. All did well. Did well. So that was just something kind of I've been like taking into consideration and thinking about, and like, maybe that's just the way it laid out, and everyone should be able to adapt anyways. But it's kind of an interesting thing.
That is interesting. Yeah, because you guys, I mean, I heard from so many different practice reports that nobody was making it wide. The game's gonna be a pocket game. It's gonna be so hard to go anywhere. It was difficult, but people were making it wide.
And I also something too and that's kind of why I asked you, Todd, like, were you guys playing the middle a lot? And I heard about your guys' practice that you guys were playing the middle a lot. Us, in our practice, we were playing the middle a lot. But that wedge on the Dorito side wasn't gone to as quickly. Mm-hmm. So the middle guy wasn't in danger as much.
Right.
And I was like, maybe that had another little bit of effect to it. But.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough one. I think we're practicing you guys, Todd. You guys in Aftermath. I think that's gonna be a great practice, man. That's gonna be killer. We should have good weather.
We're excited about it.
Cool. Excellent, man. Anything else? Thank you also for coming up and all the support at the Hall of Icons thing, and that was really cool.
No, that was, again, like I said, that's awesome. What you guys are doing for the people that have put their time in, and and the industry and the sport, itself, it's huge, right? And you guys are doing this and putting the work in, and it's thank you guys.
We got an award, but I guess they forgot.
Yeah, we had to put a sticker on. We had to cover up. Our name was under this. We're Innovative of the Year, because we're innovating on how to do podcasts and web stuff. Innovative with this.
Very nice, you two. That's very nice.
Yeah. Most people have like some sort of dial-in system, but FaceTime.
Yeah,
we're FaceTime.
All kinds of stuff. Yeah,
look,
nice.
I think it's so important because I think we're very lucky. I think. Obviously, luck has a lot. You mentioned luck, a little bit of luck. I think us Dynasty kids were extremely lucky to come into paintball when the transition was happening from the old, scary, grizzly men like yourselves and the rest of Aftershock were kind of transitioning from the woods, which you guys mastered, into Hyperball, which you guys had dialed in, into a much faster-paced game, which we were able to quickly adapt.
Sure.
And I think we just kind of struck right then. It was pure luck, really, with a handful of talent, and there should not be any reason why the sport as it is now, all these kids, these ROMs that are coming up, shouldn't know who you are, and Rocky Cagnoni and Chris Lasoya and Travis and all the guys that are standing up there with you guys, and Billy and Bruno and everybody who's on the list to be inducted into the Hall of Icons, and Nikki Cuba, and the list obviously goes on. So I'm extremely appreciative of what you guys have done to create this sport, and obviously the guys that are still here, who are still making it happen. Shane is coaching, you're here, Paxson are still making a big impact and difference on the sport. And it's important that everybody understands that. That's why I really wanted to highlight. I'm like, look, I know a lot of you guys don't know who everybody is who's standing up here, but please, go on YouTube after this show, and if you don't know who Angel Fragoso is, watch some film on him. He just won. He was inducted on Sunday night as well. But figure out who these players are. Watch Nikki Cuba if you can get any kind of video or film on him talking. It's in the huddle. It's magical, man.
Yeah.
And we need to know. Y'all need to know.
It's next level. It's the real deal. They do need to know.
So, and they need to know when there's a temple in the middle. Watch out for Poopy in there.
Yeah, in the middle, the big castle.
So thank you very much. I appreciate that, and thanks for coming on and giving us some time. I know it was been a long week.
Yeah, it was. It was good. It was good. We'll see you guys at the practice in 6 weeks, and then 7 weeks on the field. So.
All right. Excellent, man.
All right, guys.
Thanks, Todd.
All right, Todd.
Awesome. See you, fellas.
Awesome. See you guys.
But
you got it.
Cool, man. That was killer. Little less energy. He's a little tired.
Well.
Yeah. He had a long one, and
we're licking our wounds.
Here you go.
Yeah, I'm getting some of that. I think I was actually in a better mood too yesterday, and then it's slowly starting to hit me in different areas. I'm like, oh.
Yesterday was cool, man. We got to.
I'm also really happy for you, because that was your performance was epic, and I know I talked to a couple people too. It was people Mouse has his style, a lot of guys have their style. Archie has his style. He's running and shooting, very surgical with it. But yours is your style is you're just doing whatever needs to be done to get it done, which is cool, because it'll look unorthodox sometimes, but you're I was telling too. This is funny. When we were flying home yesterday, I was like, that was really smart of you to crawl so slow in the snakes of the dust. And so he's like, no, I was just a little bit tired. I was like, oh, all right, but you made it look right. So yeah, that was cool.
I joked with him. I'm like, my body actually, surprisingly, I'm not as sore or as much. I felt like I was gonna be way more beat up.
Yeah.
Right. And so I was like,
especially the way the layout, because it was you're diving to the first spot you go to.
Oh man, well my leg was super beat up because the first day I had to play that California, the first little temple.
Yeah.
And I mean, I didn't want to run and shoot into that thing because I just didn't want to risk it. So I was constantly just doing a quick hip slide on that thing. And so my leg got super beat up.
Oh.
Right? And so I had to put an extra, because you're only going this, it doesn't matter where you're playing, you're going the same direction. Right?
Yeah.
You're never sliding left-handed. I was only playing right-handed.
Yeah.
So that was like the only part of my body that got beat up. But I was joking. I go, man, you guys have it easy. You guys go to your spot. You basically lay down the whole time.
Yeah.
Right? And then when I'm ready to like gunfight, I just have to sit. And then you don't have to talk as much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I was watching.
They don't expect as much out of you.
Yeah. I was watching the webcast and like I shot in the finals. I kept shooting the guy out of the back center. But I wasn't really saying anything because I knew there was a guy directly on the other side of me. And I wasn't going to be like, hey, I'm right here. So I shot him. And I'm like, all right, well. Get out and I go, dude, I don't have to say anything. If I'm not having to communicate, dude, easy. Because you're like, that's just another bit of energy that you're like expelling, you know? No, but I was gassed. I was like, yeah. Oliver said the same thing. He's like, dude, you crawled into there so slow. And it was like, dude, it was like perfect. And then right when you popped up, there was like a little flick of dust, and then the guy knew you were there. I was like, yeah.
It was all a big plan.
Super slow. Yeah. Well, that also, because like the way it works is, because I never played the snake in practice. I never played the snake in practice. I was like the second or third guy in there. I always played the corner. But I always got to watch. I saw Danny playing it. I saw Harry playing it. I saw Chris play it. I saw like Archie playing it. I saw everybody play it as the number one. And so I basically was like, all right, just the whole time I'm playing, I'm like, all right, don't blow it. And that's kind of what I'm thinking the whole time when I'm playing. It's like, just don't blow it.
Yeah.
Right? Because, and I knew I only fought around that corner, like wrapping around the snake 3.
Yeah.
Like maybe twice, and once was in the Hurricanes game, and I luckily shot the guy with my first snap. But like I saw so many people lose that battle to that little W that just sits there and waits on the edge.
Yeah.
That I just already knew not to even bother with it unless I absolutely needed to.
Yeah.
Right? And I bunkered that guy a couple times in the Blast Cap game and like a couple here and there because I knew where he was. And the odds of just watching all the games, the odds of the guy coming out to snap shoot and try to gain dominance were way lower than the success rate of the guy that was just sitting there posted on the edge, right? So that information that I had, I'm like, okay, well, I already have that. I don't even need to make this mistake because I already know it's like not a good gamble.
Yeah.
So when I go into the play it, and it's just every little mistake I make, I'm like, oh, crap. Someone will like kind of like, hey, dude, what are you doing? I'm like, listen, man, I'm just learning this spot.
Yeah, yeah.
It was very similar to the World Cup when we were playing in like the semifinals against the Tauntauns. You know, right before it, Archie's like, I'm like, dude, I'm really struggling up here because never played up the middle until World Cup.
Yeah.
Same thing, and Archie's like, dude, just be you.
Yeah.
You got this. I'm like, all right, thanks. First point, I run onto their side, try to break the game open, and then he comes back and yells at me. He's like, dude, what the hell are you doing, man? Like, why would you go? Like, you need to tell it's a part of the game plan. I was like, oh, man, you told me to be me, man. I don't know what to say. Yeah. But it's just...
And it looks like it out there, too. That was something, I mean, I don't know if you want to bring back up the draw. Something I wanted to talk about that's, in my opinion, like, so impressive. There's a huge shakeup in the Pro League right now. Like, it's been a while since Russian Legion has been on the top. But you could say... like easily that Russians are top 5 type top 6 team for many years. This might be the first time in, I mean, I don't know how long that it's just you guys in that top 4 space, which because it's typically it's X Factor, Impact, Heat, you know, maybe Throw.
Yeah.
NYX was last year, was a outlier
Damage.
there. Aftermath hasn't been up there in a while. Russians also haven't been up there, but besides that, Hurricanes, Russian, Aftermath, and then you have Damage down in Tier 3. You know, obviously the AC Diesel name hasn't been up there, but like for our performance to be that far down too, there's a big shakeup here with everything. So it'll be interesting to see, like, and I don't think that the way that the layouts are going to be designed are going to be anything short of what we saw of a different game being played. So, but where I was going with that is, like, it's impressive for you guys too to still be able to adapt and have those results. And I think it's cool. Like, I think there's like, it's like a split. There's like a lot of people that are like, we're tired of seeing Dynasty win, but like, if I'm not winning, I respect it. I appreciate it. I think it's rad.
Yeah, Alex said it in one of those speeches sometime. He's like, even they want us to win the World Cup. It was like, you know, I always say it when there's like a sign off or any kind of thing. I'm like, hey, look, thanks for being a fan of paintball. Even if you're not a fan of Dynasty, it's all good. Like as long as you're a fan of paintball, I support you and I'm thankful for you. You know?
Yeah.
So
I'm a fan.
Yeah.
If I'm not winning, I hope you guys win.
Yeah.
What
yeah.
else?
What is it? Was that?
So what else?
Oh,
Award show,
dude.
Summit.
Oh man, the Summit.
You did a great job at
Thank you.
the talk yesterday too.
I'm also gonna I'll have some of these Hall of Icons. I made like 20 sweatshirts in like a dark green with gold of these, and then some hats and some T-shirts to help fund the operation out there.
Schwartz Cable, yeah, that's interesting. You said that because how do you feel accepting the award for Bobcat? It was cool, and I'm glad you asked me, and Scott asked me to go do that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for that. But I also was like, it's kind of intimidating sitting up there with all these
those
legends
guys.
that I was like, that I don't know if you noticed, but I'm like, the whole time I had the award, I'm like holding it like this because like
I see.
Yeah.
So just as a quick like recap on the Hall of Icons, I'll bring up the inductee list here in a second. But Bobby Aviles won posthumously. I believe I pronounced that incorrectly, but he was inducted into the Hall of Icons this year. We took 10 players off of a list of, there are about 100 and I think there were 120 original. Oh, here we go. And then there's another list over here. Names on a list of players ranging from Alex Lundquist and Andy Kopkock and Angel Fragoza to Will Arroyo, Wally Donner, Tyler Humphreys on there, Todd Peverell. And it's recognizing not only or mainly a person's involvement in the sport and the industry, right? There is a Paintball Hall of Fame, but they trademarked that and can't use that. And they just kind of randomly induct like just personalities or field owners and stuff. So I felt like there's something needed to be done to recognize the people like, Todd or any of the guys that were up on stage the other night, and for their accomplishments and their involvement in the sport. So we had 10 players inducted. Those 10 players were Steve Rabikoff, Rich Telford, Billy Gardner, Billy Wing, Brian Benini, Nikki Cuba, Leds, Angel Fragoza, Mike Paxton, and then Bobby Aviles. Not everybody was able to make it. Obviously, I don't know if anybody's ever talked to Angel in the last couple of years, but
I was telling J-Rav too. I was like, he just decided to come at the third quarter. I was like,
I told J-Rav, I told
award,
Steve,
bro.
I told this, and he's like, oh, you said something about him? I was like, yeah. He's like, there was an award? I go, yeah. But I wanted more people to be up on stage, right? We want it to be a cool thing. And you can actually, if you go onto Major League Paintball's Instagram, they stream the whole thing live. I know it's not as good as everybody would like it to have been, but it's a lot of work to even get I mean, they had the scene was like incredible for paintball. It was like, I think Kyle might have said it 20 times to me. He goes, "This is the coolest thing that I've ever been a part of in paintball."
It really was. I mean, what Marcelo are they doing their show right now? Because it'd be funny to call him right now because I think he would speak on it well.
Yeah, and I mean, and if you have an opportunity, you got to be able to see Marcelo won Icon of the Year.
All the awards.
Yeah, he won all the awards. He won Icon of the Year, and his speech was great. It wasn't about him winning it. It was about paintball being at this level, and that's what he dreamed about, right? He was like, I didn't dream about like being the best in the sport or the best athlete. He goes, I dreamed about the sport being big, and having a scene like a stage to stand on and accept awards like this. It was kind of our ESPYs, right? It was our ESPY moment. Yeah. And it was just really cool. We had people coming up. Alex killed it with his jokes are hilarious. If you get an opportunity, we should get that joke list from him. But I thought it was really important to have somebody to come up and accept Bobby's award, because obviously Bobby's no longer with us, and I feel personally that he had a huge impact on the sport from a player standpoint. One of the things that I mentioned in my introduction was, rarely do, excuse me, rarely do teams have to make game plans around a certain individual, right? If Mouse is in, you got to make a game plan around him, right? There are guys that you want to make game plans around. Bobby was that guy. I mean, we made a code just for Bobby. That Casper call is Bobby, right? He had an innate ability to be able to stand in blind zones and make moves. He was such a tenacious player. So you kind of wanted to set the tone against him.
Or that, like, put a name on if you shot a guy.
Yeah.
Like, you definitely want Bobby's off the field.
Yes. And then not only that, but he was a great ambassador. He traveled all over the world. He played on every single continent. I played on in teams and with him and against him on every continent that you can play paintball.
Yeah.
And that shows a tremendous amount about, his character, because people always wanted him around.
Something too, and I didn't mention this to you the other day, but in our group chat, which is like me, Scott Kemp, Short, Kenny, everyone, like, they were his good friends, we were saying, and I'm sure you probably had something like this too with him, is like, I think Bobby had like special moments, even probably with people in the chat, that were like, it was kind of like your inside joke. Like, if you probably saw something or saw a video or saw a joke, you might send it to Bobby because that was your guys' like connection, like your little way to laugh. And he had that with so many people, which was cool.
Yeah, and I mentioned it in there. Excuse me. He was a good friend of mine and a great friend to many people out there. He was like one of those only guys. He would like make an effort to reach out just to touch base and see how he's doing. He was a great dude, and there's a lot of people in the industry and around the world who are there's a spot in their hearts that miss him, and I felt like he was very deserving of this award. I don't vote on it. I only help to curate and create this project. I don't want to be a voting board because I already have to deal with the people who have not been inducted. We're only on year 2.
Or protect the people that did get inducted.
Yeah. Like, how did you get? I don't know, man. So there are 10 people on the voting board, and all 10 of these players or human beings who are on the voting board. Most of them, I think most of them are on the actual list. So there's a possibility that they could get inducted, and I encourage them to vote for themselves. Some of them do, some of them don't.
Art made a good point. All we were missing was a good DJ. So next year maybe have a big DJ come.
Oh, they were supposed to have Styles and Complete come.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Budget cuts. And the other thing about the summits is like, I talked to Maddie briefly about this, is like, and the same thing with our show and everything about it is like, there are lots of great ideas on what can make Go Sports better, the NXL better. Oh, cool. Our show better, and everything, right? And everybody in these industries is receptive to the feedback and wants to make the best product possible. However, and shout out to everybody out there who is grinding all the podcasts in the pits, Moffat, every piece of equipment and every extra human being that's in there working on the project generally costs more money. So if we want more barrel cams for Go Sports and we need more people doing stats, that's more money that needs to be invested into it, more subscribers, more supporters, more X, Y, and Z to create a better product, because it doesn't just always grow on trees for free. However, we are incredibly fortunate to have guys like Randy Smith, Bart, Dave Baines, and Tom in the NXL. They lost their asses on the summit. I can promise you that. I know they did. I know. Mainly because they couldn't pay me a discounted rate to do a bunch of stuff there. So I appreciate everything that they're doing at their own risk,
but I think
to make the sport better.
I mean, that just rejuvenated, I think, people that may have been like, dabbling with paintball, not as much involved, and given more like optimism and hope and longevity to like keep facilitating the infrastructure of paintball. Like, when you gave that talk about teams, and I spoke up, and that was something I wanted to say too, is like, also like, look at that, what we just did with that award show and how incredible that was. It's like, through the struggles, just know like it's getting there. It's getting there. Like, with how epic that award show was and what they're doing for paintball, and every year we're adding a few little things, like I feel like it's coming. We're close. And
it was such a cool melting pot also.
Yeah.
You know, you had Wolf, you had a bunch of field owners, you had a bunch of people there accepting awards on behalf of their region, and it brought all these people together.
Yeah.
And then the Summit Awards, I saw the Velocity people out there.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we had a great class on just kind of like, you had some really cool stuff to say in there as well about tournament players, and it's great. We need more of it. We need more support, and we need people to not whinge at having to pay $15 to get into a party that's was the coolest thing for paintball in the history of paintball. And when they say, saw this on the comments, when they say try to dress nice and they give you a somewhat of a guidelines. Like,
I think I might have got best dressed. I saw some of the people.
I did say somewhat. I mean, I felt like I was dressed well.
You were
Marcelo
dressed well.
Definitely didn't get dressed.
Skinny Kevin was dressed pretty nice.
Harry had a nice suit on. That red suit.
That's true.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
He kind of stinky.
He's stinky though.
He's
the stinky kid.
So I'm like, if you're dressed nice and stinky.
But if it says dress nice and you come dressed not wearing that stuff and then you're not allowed into the place, like, whose fault is that, man? Saw someone was like, dude, thanks for not letting me in. I was wearing my cargo pants. It's like, dude, what the fuck?
It's funny, too, because I was downstairs. I think I told you this yesterday, but I was, like, in my Patagonia jacket and, like, some sweatpants. But it was, like, right as everyone was showing up and going in. I was just getting some food and having a drink. Like, is that what you're wearing? I'm like, no, you'll see what I'm wearing.
That's right. That's right.
Let me go back to my room.
I was wearing my custom Bespoke HORMESIS jacket, and John Drescher was like, "Wait, are you gonna be allowed to wear that in here?" I'm like, "This is what are you wearing, man? Get off of me! Get off of me!"
Wolf was dressed nice,
dude. Wolf looked like the new James Bond.
He did.
Yeah, dude. I feel like he's gonna be. He was trying to get Idris Elba's job for the new James Bond, man. I said that to him.
And spoke well.
Yeah, no, he's good, dude. He's a great personality, and congratulations to everybody who won an award. The Spick and Span Show 2023's Innovator of the Year. It's right here. They put the sticker on here for us. It was like this is actually printed on this purple thing.
How about that HORMESIS video trailer? Dude. Shit, I tried to get it from Alex today. I would love to show everyone here. He's like,
we'll premiere it next week on the show. It was dope. It looks good.
Incredible.
Yeah, that thing's gonna be killer. And then I saw some Iron Kids teasers. Dan Napoli's gonna crush that. This is gonna be a big year for them. And also shout out to this is the best part. Innovative of the Year. Did you hear Alex when he said this? This is actually Oliver's award. He won it, and he goes, Innovative of the Year. He goes, not sure why my name's not on this, but HORMESIS, Oliver Legg.
Oh no.
Yeah. Thanks for paying the bills, Al.
Should we try to give Alex a call really quick, just to?
Well, I was gonna spin the wheel right now, but you can.
I'll just try to give him a call, just so.
Let's do that while I'm spinning the wheel here. We're gonna give away some prizes. I got some shirts courtesy of Matrix Gear. We've got this thing that I've been trying to give away. This is going out. Sloan actually signed this one.
Is it here?
Oh wait, no, here. No, that's yours. Yeah, sorry, Scott and Camille. That's their thing. So we give that courtesy of Gen X and Arfon. Thank you very much for your support. And then we've got some NECTR stuff. Shout out to the NECTR boys, dude. They came out here. They had a blast out there. And I'll tell you what, I was gassed. I had 2 bananas and a taco before the award show, and I did a double NECTR whack, and I feel like I was laser focused during that speech.
Yeah.
I didn't drink. If you guys have a public speaking event and you're thinking that you're gonna have a couple of cocktails to cool and ease your anxiety or whatever, what have you, that's not the move. Trust me. I'm sure you guys have seen so many failures and bombs at people's weddings. You don't want to get drunk before you go up and talk in front of people. I promise you that. It doesn't help. But,
yeah, Quinn said one of the best moments of the night was the video on a 200-foot screen of the HORMESIS movie.
Yeah, 200. Like think about this. 200. The screen. There were multiple screens. A 200-foot screen.
It was like 3 18-wheelers put in. And
it was like it came. It was like, yeah, we need to get another. That was like a very, 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 like, that was a. This is a storybook moment, and like this will be ingrained in history.
And like everywhere, there was just so much space, and like everything. Quinn's calling me actually right now. Quinn, you need to call Ryan because that's his iPad here.
Yeah, Quinn, if you want to jump in here real quick, we got a couple minutes.
What's up?
What's up? You gotta call Ryan's phone.
Oh, let me call him.
All right, so
We'll
Quinn
get Quinn real quick, but
jumping in here. This is the this is the main wheel. If you guys are a supporter of the show at any membership level, your name is up here on this list. Whether you joined today, yesterday, last month. Also, new emojis for members that have been with us. This is crazy. For 36 months or longer.
sheesh.
Right? That's the big explosion. So if you see Mario Trujillo's name in there, it's the logo is cooler than what it actually sees. They're so small you can barely see them, but it's an explosion, like a bomb going off. But like kaboom, and then it's our faces in the middle of it.
Yeah.
So, Michael Montanari, dude, congratulations! You are getting a Matrix shirt. You just won. He won actually on the show a while ago, and Alex never shipped him his.
What are these guys?
Those are extra things. Alex never shipped him his headband, so when he was there, I personally took him into the HORMESIS booth. He was kicking and screaming. He didn't want to do it. He's like, no, please, there's something cool. It's okay. And I hooked him up because we always pay our debts, especially if you win on the Spick and Span show. So we'll spin a couple times here. Oh boy.
God, that was a slow one.
Yeah. Kristen Hedrich. Also, if you guys and gals are winners of the show, make sure I have your addresses because there are a lot of unclaimed prizes that just kind of sit in a bag, have your name on them, and no address. Let's get a Bubble Bath t-shirt going here.
What up?
Quinn.
Nothing, man. Just listening to my favorite show.
There it is.
I don't know if that's true.
Hey, man, I don't vote for it.
Yeah, dude, we weren't even nominated for your guys' awards.
Hey, I already said if I could pick Creator of the Year, it'd be Pro Paintball Troll every single year.
That's a good point.
I would vote for.
Yeah,
I would vote for
him.
Pro Paintball.
I would vote
also.
for Paintball Troll.
But we got Innovator of the Year. I don't know.
Yeah,
See, you guys want an award.
Yeah.
That looks better than the real thing.
it does because the names actually stay on.
Can I buy those stickers somewhere?
You want to know why? No, we just create a bunch of merch to give away. We don't sell anything. We should basically be a not-for-profit company.
Yeah.
It's actually interesting because
It's heavy.
it is heavy. You could kill somebody with that.
Yeah.
So many people who do podcasts and media out there rely so heavily on this fancy plugins to call into StreamYard. I'm going to put you in this little thing. We got to put our headphones on. Not us. We are true innovators by just putting an extra camera up to film you. So now we're actually now we're interacting. You know what I mean? No
Yeah, I mean,
headphones.
look at this. 5 minutes ago, I was eating Cheetos in my bed, and I just hit the
That's
call
it.
button, and I'm here.
That's it. It's just we're always on call here on the Spick and Span show, which is why we snagged the Innovator of the Year for 2024.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank
I
you.
loved your speech at the event.
Thank you. Also, I just was thinking about it. Speaking of speeches, and how Marcelo got this big thing, and he won Icon of the Year, and he got all these awards and this big trophy, and he got to talk on stage. I recall, I think I won Icon of the Year last year, and all I got was an Instagram picture. Do I get a trophy, or is there a?
Yeah, dude, I have it. I have to send it to you. I've literally had it in my office forever.
I think
I'd say for a year is my guess.
I think since Marcelo's been winning all these awards, next year he should have to MC.
Oh, that's the prize. If you win, you get to MC.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think once you three-peat, you're done. You can't be voted anymore.
Yeah. What you told me?
Hey, I don't know. At the same time, someone go beat him, right?
You told me what? And that's kind of why I wanted to get Marcelo on. You mentioned to me yesterday as we were flying back that he said something really nice about the award show, something super heartfelt, meaningful. Do you remember what that was?
Well, I mentioned that. He said, just about how
he was ever since he was a kid. Or
yeah, no, I mentioned that already.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. That was about how.
Yeah, we're gonna have the full we're gonna have highlight reels, kind of showing a quick shot of the show. And then we're going to have a full 90-minute coverage where you can see everything that happened, all the speeches, everything.
Yeah.
So we'll have his full speech out for that section soon. And then
nice.
definitely a separate thing just for Alex's MC roasting intro.
That was
just
that was incredible.
I thought we were going to lose Kyle.
I was laughing so hard.
He was laughing so hard.
It hurt. Yeah. I had to
stop. To be honest, I'm at the side stage. I was like, hey, keep it going. Give me 10 more minutes of this.
Yeah, that's what you did say. You're
incredible.
Can you stretch this out?
Barbecue cook-off of everyone.
Yeah. After the sixth time I've gone up there and had the mic in my hand, he's like, "Hey, can you stretch the next one out?" I'm like, "What am I going to say? I've already said everything. I didn't even know I was coming up here. I didn't know I was going to win Flex Player of the Year.
Yeah.
Didn't you? You told everybody else they were winning. Everybody else knew they were winning.
I didn't tell anybody they were winning.
Marcelo knew.
He didn't. I didn't tell anybody anything.
He's been talking about the speech that he's preparing for his Icon of the Year award all week. He's been writing that speech.
Well, I ain't the lead, baby. Ask somebody else.
Oh, I don't know. Because I was talking to a buddy and I'm like, no, I didn't win anything up here. I think we just got the team one.
It had to.
Yeah,
It had to go to Marcelo.
When you did win?
It had to go to Marcelo.
Yes, I was very for sure.
So, but you know what would have been funny if it didn't, as like a troll, to see what his reaction was.
I was still holding in my back pocket that at the end of the night I was going to announce myself as Icon of the Year.
I like it.
Because at that point they're too deep in the show to stop it, so it's kind of has to happen at that point.
What you should have done is just randomly announce somebody who was there, and just see
just
them.
a random guy.
Just whoever you go around and like meeting people, and whoever you felt was the drunkest pro person there, announce them as the winner, and then make them come up.
I mean, I already know who the drunkest pro person there was.
Who?
Your coach.
That's easy. That's an easy one.
Hey, did you play with the newbies?
Yeah, for sure. I got a nice destroyed ear.
Was that from my
We
team?
had that 6 a.m. game, and I don't normally wear clear lenses, so I put on a Flex 8, and I was thinking as I walked out, Jesus, I hope no one shoots me in the ear, because my whole ear's hanging out. Fucking first ball right in the ear.
I was there. I was there for that game. Nice performance against TJ Bastards. You guys played a controlled game.
I pieced out for the consolation game. I had to get ready for the.
Oh, you didn't? Because I was like, I swear I don't see Quinn on the field.
Yeah, it was. I'm like getting so sick.
It's hard to play for that game.
I'm just like, I don't even want to be here. I gotta go get these awards ready. I'm gonna go do that.
Yeah, I told those guys
which
too.
I was digs. I don't think those guys even got to the awards until like right when they started.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, I did want to point that out, right? Because a lot of people are like, "Why couldn't it be on Go Sports and this and that?" I'm like, dude, listen, this is how tight the schedule was. Our game was scheduled for 3:45. You do the national anthem, then you got 5 minutes. So we start at 4 p.m. Our match ends at 5, and then by the time you gear down, we literally the doors open at the ceremony at 7.
Yeah.
So we had to go to the Sahara, check in, shower. I haven't eaten. I still haven't eaten yet.
It's crazy though. You guys, everyone on your team was still all ready before me, and I came in.
No, that's so cool. No, that's not hard to do.
Yeah, but it takes time to look that good, Kyle. Right?
Yeah, it does. It does.
No, it's just easy for me to look good.
That's true.
I just look good just out the gate. Okay.
Whatever it takes.
Too, I'm pretty sure at some point it was either you or Alex. We were literally sitting on the side stage talking about how good Meter looks.
Dude, how unfair is
Meter
that?
crushes it. Yeah.
Yeah, how unfair is it? That's easy for him. I don't think he does his hair. He just goes in there. He's smart. At least he's not tall.
Didn't Alex have a good joke about it too?
Did he?
I thought
Alex
had a good joke.
Yeah,
like most
sure
handsome. I thought this was the award for most handsome, but it's for.
Oh yeah, but it would have been me. That's what Alex said. You're right. No, you guys crushed it. But yeah, the big thing is, guys, is just basically Darren from Go Sports has to shut down the Go Sports webcast and then get everything packed up, and then he has what, an hour? He had probably an hour and a half to get cleaned up and get over there, and then have all the AV everything dialed in to
Yeah, I mean, we had 3.5 hours of video assets on minute by minute timing that Darren had to just on the spot have running. Running the stream on top of that would have been unfeasible.
Yeah, just so for other you guys who weren't there, and you'll see maybe on the post production show is every time that there was somebody announced for an iconic award, or for our Hall of Icons or anything, their photo or video was playing behind it.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just someone talking and just random crap going on. It was it was a very well produced scenario, and it was killer. It was really
yeah,
there was so many people out of the woodwork that came too.
30-second video spots for every single nominee, and then a 90-second video for the winners. I mean, it took a lot of assets just to get to that point. Plus, it kind of added in the mystery of it, right? You just kind of showed up and you got to experience it if you were there, and if you weren't, tough shit come next year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was for me. I think it's probably been, and I honestly, I think that was even cooler than like Huntington Beach, but I know that Huntington Beach is big for a lot of people. But like seeing Trauma win as my first pro event in 2005, like that was like one of the next coolest things. Honestly.
Yeah, I mean, if you were watching the Hall of Icons and you weren't just like taking in that moment how huge that was, like, hey, Ryan's monologue on the 2022 candidates was incredible by itself, his intro to bring those guys in, and then just the whole new class coming in, getting their jacket ceremony, like, these are dudes that haven't been to events, some of them in like a decade, and they're coming out again, and even industry guys, like, I can't remember the last time I saw Gio at an event. I mean, that's the biggest field owner in the world, essentially, and he's out at the tournament, he's at the awards, like, it brought so many people out, and hopefully we'll bring them back as, you know, mainstays of the sport.
No,
if you just took a little stroll around that place, it's like legends, go,
dude.
like
Absolutely.
every like within every other person, it's like, I looked up to that person my whole life, you know, like as you walked around that place. It was really cool.
Dude, they had the green jackets on, so they were easy to find.
There they are. Yep. And the other really cool, I went on my way to talk to as many, you know, non-pros as I possibly could to gauge their interest. How did it feel? What is it like? And you know, some were like, dude, this is the coolest experience of my life, right? Because again, if you're a fan of paintball and you're a true fan of like the actual sport that we're playing and you're engaged with the teams and everything, and now you're out at like this award show and you have direct access to these players, you know, it's like, it's a really cool experience, man. It's like, you know, so hats off to all of them, and appreciate the support. Killer.
Yeah, man,
thank you, Quinn, for all the work that you did.
Yeah, dude, I'm just the guy in the back handing trophies to people. I don't do shit.
Yeah, that's how we feel too.
No, it's honestly funny though, because like talking about all that, like, and people being there, and just being, like,
we're just like a small media outlet that just not many people.
We're for the
watch.
people. We're nonprofit, so we don't expect
like
anything.
I mean, this new camera you got showing you guys off, this is innovation.
That's what I'm talking about, dude. This is what we're seeing. Can you see the camera?
I mean, you quadrupled your quality like overnight. That's a big innovation.
Yeah, this is a spot. This is a fan donated camera. Like, so thank you. Look at how crispy you are, man.
I mean, you guys look good. What is this, like 720p?
No, I mean, we're shooting for 10, but you never know. We're in the garage, so the Wi-Fi might you know, spotty. The camera like focuses itself, like you can kind of like pull it in and out. Yeah.
So Ryan, as someone who was both involved on the stage and there as a pro, what was your favorite moment of the night?
Well, my favorite moment of the night was hands down the Hall of Icons, the legends, right? Because I mentioned it to Todd Adams, and I'm like, dude, just I did this because I'm not a person that gets, I'm not emotional. Like I don't really care about a lot of things, to be completely honest. And you know, I don't know the deep nuances about our sport, believe it or not. But I do know that there are players who have done a lot for this sport and this industry, and they have lost a lot of that shine that I believe that they deserve.
Yeah.
And I feel that is incredibly important for us to recognize those people. And I call myself more of an idea man. I tried my best to like, hey, this is a great idea. Someone should do this, right? Like I got this great idea, and everybody's like, yeah, it's a cool idea. It should get done. And it just kind of took like, okay, I'm just gonna do it, right? And that's why, you know, I reached out to you and thought, what do you think? You've got in depth as like a fan perspective of the sport, which is which is necessary to like help this type of vision move forward. So, you know, the awards that honor the players in their current state is incredibly important. Right, we need to keep that going. Yes. And I remember Paintball Games. I think it was
motivational.
Wasn't it Paintball? Yeah. Was it Paintball Games, or it was I don't know. One of the magazine publications back in the day would be like, all right, the top 10 of this and the top 10. Like they would give like some like their player of the year kind of things, just right up.
Yeah, CGI,
right?
They would do the player of the year every year.
Yeah, and I thought that was cool. You know, like this is sweet. Yeah. And then someone did like the top 100 players. You know,
top 200.
Yeah, that was killer, man. And I just believe that we need to continue that sort of thing to create the legacy, because again, in talking to a lot of field owners and operators yesterday, it's you're increasing the sphere of influence. You're growing that bubble of sphere of influence, because if Rocky Cagnoni stops caring and is underappreciated or whatever it might be, or Todd Adamson thinks that nobody cares about his endeavors or his legacy on the sport, there's a possibility that those people are no longer involved in the sport and don't want to have anything to do with it.
Yeah.
And it's not like, you know, and I believe that we owe that to these players. I think it's important. You know, and one day we're gonna hit the big leagues, the big TV deal is gonna get signed, and we're gonna, you know, be able to pay people their fair share. But
the award show, everything too, I think will also help motivate people to keep like striving to be their
Yes.
best selves, and like keep pushing to grow paintball and being elite. Is like that, like everyone, you know, that was there was like the magnitude of it was like, I think really appreciative. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude, for sure. It was definitely cool. I mean, I think out of everything the whole night, I think my favorite 2 moments was Nicky getting his Hall of Icons.
And Nicky, yep.
And it was really cool to see Keith Brown there with his mom. Like, that was just what. Like, it was cool to see him win Snake Player of the Year. And then his mom was, like, you know, out getting photos. Like, it was just cool to see, like, hey, everyone here cares about you just as much as your family and everyone else. Like, we're all amped up for you. This is
Totally.
sick. That was cool. But no, the Nicky thing was big for me, man. Like, I got to talk to him a lot throughout the last few weeks because we brought him in as our coach and stuff. We've been hanging out. And, like, I, like, made a point to tell him, like, hey, a big reason I started even writing or creating was because of you. Like, watching him when I was a kid in Heroes for a Day and stuff, like, the emotion he had on the field, I'm like, that's what I want to capture and talk about. Like, when you're smashing chairs after getting your second place finish in a row, like, and he was huge for that. And seeing him back and, like, the just sheer volume of people that were, like, loving this dude, like, giving him hugs, high fives, trying to talk to him all weekend. Like, it's cool to see that, like, no matter where you go in life, when you come back to the sport, the community never leaves you. Like, we're always here for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And thank you for for helping out getting him back, because he's now coaching your squad, and I think that is
dude, such a good coach. Like, the knowledge is insane still.
Yeah, and I mean, I stepped in for a couple of your matches last year and saw how disorganized things were. So it's certainly good to have.
You're saying, like, the beers in the middle of a game? And, like,
Yeah, dude.
Stuff.
What was the bunker name that your team had? It was like the name of some club, like it was thinking of Onyx or something. Or like, what was the?
It's still a name. It's called Club Onyx.
Yeah, Club
That's
Onyx
when you don't
is
know
one of
where
the
they're
things. And I'm like, do you think that maybe like that one doesn't carry across the field well, or like maybe it does this and that? And they're like, but it's this like sick club that we go to. I'm like, all right, tight. And I go, hey, are you playing or are you coaching? The guy had a beer and a Bud Light in his hand. He's like, no, I'm gonna play this one. And I go, huh, all right, tight.
Dude, I was over there.
And you guys took third place. Like, it was
dude,
like,
I was over there all day on Sunday. Like, I don't know how I made it at 6:45 for those first matches, but I stayed there all day, and it was crazy. Like how many people slowly at like 10, 11 o'clock, like that semi-pro field was packed, pit side and the other side. So it was cool to watch.
Mm-hmm. Well, people now feel like there's a chance. They have a chance.
Field. It gives you a little bit different of a game than you see on the pro field as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little more gritty, raw, like.
Hey, dude, I liked watching you coach. I was watching some of your matches, Scout and TJ's. It was, you know.
Dude,
cool
he's
to
good,
see.
man.
Your guys are definitely much more calm than 90% of the division. Like, those guys are yelling at each other in the pits over every little thing. But
Yeah.
you guys are definitely more of like a pro feel where it's calm, cool.
So I try to keep them, but like those are my guys. I love it too. It was cool to watch, and Nicky was coaching them the whole time, so I didn't try to overstep. I was just more like talking to them on like personal things, but like yeah, it's a big passion of mine. So it was nice to be able, even though we didn't make it, it was like cool to be there with those guys. Watch them.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question, Kyle. You were a semi-pro coach. You get in the pits. There's 2 tables. You know that you guys just get one, right? It's common knowledge.
I don't know that.
Okay, because I'm wondering, because we got in so many arguments with these fucking pro guys coaching teams this weekend, trying to eat up the whole pit. I'm like, hey, man, this isn't pro. There's 1 tent here, baby. We got to share.
I thought there's 2 tents.
Yeah, but that's for 4 teams.
Oh.
No, so
No. There's 2 tents on each side. There's 2 tents on each side.
Teams that are on deck for the next game that have to prep because we don't.
So basically, you're prepping, but they don't have enough. They don't have enough space for the prepping.
If you're on deck, you got to get ready outside.
No, not us, baby. We're in that pit.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just over there trying to help.
If I were coaching, I would bully my way onto a table beforehand and keep that table the whole time.
Yeah.
We genuinely try to do that.
Yeah.
It works for
I think I heard something about that. I was like, we just got in an argument with this other team at the table, and like, what do you want to do? I'm like, I don't want to deal with that. Is what I want to do.
We'll do it. We were 5 minutes before a match. I'm like, we'll sit here and argue all day, buddy. We'll miss the match. I don't care.
They're like, we're petty. We got time.
One table per team. Welcome to Diviz.
But no, man, our time's coming. We were one penalty away from the second game, so our time's coming.
Yeah, no, you guys looked really good. I was actually like, after the second match, so going into the semis, I was watching you guys play, and in my opinion, you guys look like one of the best teams out there. Just controlled, calm, knew what you're doing. Like, everyone was doing their job, and so I was like, I didn't have a sheet at the time, so I was just in my notepad on my phone, just writing down all your guys' spots. But it looked good. And then it's tough, like you said, for that third place game, like I told it always sucks. It's like, yeah, I guess it softens a blow if you win that match, but also like if you lose, it's just like double. And so I'm like, look, we were playing for first
6 fucking times in the last 2 years, and it sucks every single time.
Yeah, and I told those guys, I was like, look, we were playing for first, and we lost that semi match. Like, don't beat your guys selves up too much.
And I think you're gonna play the whole season now, possibly.
Yeah, they did.
Cool.
Yeah,
good for them. Congrats to the TJ Bastard guys.
Yeah.
I thought for sure it was going to be us versus you guys, like, by midday Sunday. I'm like, it's going to be us versus TJs. And we were legitimately like, this is a good fucking team. This is going to be hard.
Yeah.
Stoked. Sick. Well, this is a killer show, man. Quinn, thanks for jumping on. Also texting.
Yeah, for sure. I won't hold you up too much longer. I got a dog, and it was calling me.
Well, good work with your
right,
contribution to the Summit Awards show.
Yeah, and you too, for sure. It was great seeing you guys. And Ryan, definitely Hall of Icons was like the best part of the night to me. So,
thanks,
thank
Quinn.
you.
Appreciate that.
All right, catch you guys soon.
See you, Quinn.
Later, Quinn.
Yeah, you heard it, guys. Hall of Icons. Get on board with it, and we'll. Oh, sorry, I need that picture. Is that what we look like?
Yeah.
Really appreciate everybody tuning in today. Obviously right before and right after events is some of our biggest shows. We hope to have you guys, watching and tuning in every Tuesday. We understand that is a big chunk of a day. You're basically watching Oppenheimer every Tuesday, full-length feature film with far fewer special effects. But we loved your guys' everybody's support. Please like and share this. You guys can catch us on podcasts on Apple and Spotify and wherever you guys get your podcasts. It's pretty cool now. And yeah, man, we're just gonna keep bringing you guys fun, entertaining, good paintball content every single week. We're on episode 182, coming up close to 200 episodes. We gotta do something.
Yeah, we gotta get Maddie with a big.
Yeah, we might get Denzel Washington to do that would get the intro for us. We're good friends.
Yeah.
But until then, we'll see you guys next week.
Who should we get next week? Maybe Mike, Hurricanes coach. That could be good.
There we go. Oh yeah, let's definitely get him.
Yeah.
And we got to get Perchak on too. I've been promising Perchak some time. He needs a little bit of shine. He really wanted to talk shit.
To me?
Yeah.
It's fine. I think you guys, like, that's when you know it's bad, because like no one in the chat at all, no one in the chat was shitting on me, so I'm like,
yeah, that means they're like,
because I was coming over and like getting ready all day. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be such a rough show. So I appreciate you guys for not rubbing it in too much, because it's already.
If you finish like 10th, 12th, 15th, like you're gonna get roasted. When you get 20th, like you already know.
My highlight was when you tried to bunker me and I hit from you.
Dude, I shot too early.
You missed, yeah.
Yeah, I got excited.
But you won the tournament. I got last place, so it's not.
Hi, Lonnie. My mom's watching this.
Oh, nice.
I'm not sure if you've been watching the whole time, but I tried to call you back today multiple times and went straight to voicemail. So, speaking of which, thank you guys again very much for all your support. And we'll see you guys next week on Tuesday, 4 p.m.
Later.
What a show.